Alright, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy and Chief David Reimer. It is 4:50 on the 16th of May, 2024. We do have multiple showers and thunderstorms underway across the state this afternoon, with flooding being the most widespread, most common issue as we go into tonight. But we do have storms that are producing hail, damaging winds, and we have a tornado warning now. This is going to be a tornado warning southeast of Giddings, Texas, in the southern Brazos Valley, central Texas. This is an association with a relatively nasty-looking complex of thunderstorms moving southeast into portions of southeast Texas. You can see it's moving southeast at a pretty good rate. Let's go ahead. We'll switch over to the high-res radar. Let's see which radar is going to be closest here. And we'll start with the Granger radar. Well, maybe not. That's an interesting look, Granger. We'll switch to this radar, maybe. Maybe not. Very interesting little situation here with nothing showing up on the screen. I'll just restart the program real quick. We'll get data back. This is going to be a tornado warning for northeastern Fayette County in southeast Texas until 5:15 p.m. Central Time. At 4:50 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 8 miles southeast of Giddings. This is moving southeast. They say it's moving southeast at 60, which, if correct, that means this thing is booking and cooking, which would make sense based off what the radar showed here on that loop a minute ago. So again, a severe thunderstorm. This is going to be southeast of Giddings, moving to the southeast for 60 miles an hour. There you go. You can see me again. I had to switch the speaker source, which upsets the thing. I'll fix the webcam real quick. You'll get to see my bald head. There you go. So again, pretty nasty looking. Rear flank downdraft signature just northeast of LaGrange. This thunderstorm across Fayette County definitely has the potential of producing perhaps a spin-up tornado, but nasty damaging straight-line winds well over 60 miles an hour at times as it moves southeast at 60 miles an hour. This whole complex of thunderstorms, as I once again reload this product, will impact the Houston metro over the next 2 hours with very heavy flooding, rainfall, the potential for damaging winds, hail, maybe some threat of a tornado. All right, we'll let that load. We'll actually get back so I could show you what's going on finally. And again, we're talking about this little complex of thunderstorms moving towards Round Top, southeast of Giddings. Giddings, you're clear. You have no issues from this anymore besides flooding and heavy rain. We've got nasty straight line winds. This is going to be north of LaGrange. You can see nasty winds showing up well over 70 miles an hour in spots. A lot of wind damage possible with this. And the Weather Service has this complex of storms moving southeast at about 60 miles an hour, 50 to 60. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a track on this just to show you. And again, I'm just going to do about 50 for now. It may be a bit faster than that. It may be closer to 60, but this is where we're expecting it to be over the next hour. So by 6 o'clock, this will be entering western Harris County. This will be from near Eagle Lake to Sealy to Todd Mission, moving southeast quickly. The potential for damaging straight line winds, the potential for heavy flooding rainfall, and the potential for some hail. Now, let's go ahead and zoom back out. We got a lot going on across the state this afternoon. We've had a lot going on across the state most of the day. We've got widespread rain, parts of North Texas, Northeast Texas to an extent, East Texas, the Brazos Valley, Central Texas. A lot of damaging wind reports out of Austin of trees down. Soils are saturated. It's easier to knock trees down. We got a cluster of storms firing up across West Texas down into the Permian Basin. Those storms moving off to the east. You can see a supercells fired up in portions of the Concho Valley. We'll take a look at that real quick. We've got a supercell firing up in the Edwards Plateau. We'll zoom in. Again, last 2 hours, I'll just knock this down to an hour. you can see we've got supercells firing in the Permian Basin into the Concho Valley. We've got a supercell west of Uvalde down in the Edwards Plateau, that supercell northeast of Rankin, northwest of Big Lake. That thing could have nasty hail. That is moving east. We've got a line of storms moving across parts of West Texas. Those storms going to have wind gusts over 70 miles an hour. And again, that's all moving east. Heavy rain, damaging winds, and hail. We got some scattered showers up in the Panhandle. There's nothing severe with that activity at this point. We've got scattered showers.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Austin, Colorado, and Washington County in Texas.
Okay, so that new severe thunderstorm warning is downstream of the tornado warning. We'll look at that in a second, but at this point, that means they're probably not going to extend the tornado warning. Today's tornado threat is low. We don't, at this point, at least expect widespread issues with tornadoes. Damaging winds? Yes. Hail? Yes. Flooding? Oh, yes, unfortunately. But tornadoes, not a super high risk today. All these blue box outlines you see, these are flash flood warnings. Like I said, we're going to have big problems with flooding as we go into this evening. We've already had issues with flooding this afternoon, and that'll continue into tonight. And I'll show you the high-res rapid refresh model for a timeline of tonight in a moment. But again, you can see with thunderstorms across parts of central Texas, the Brazos Valley, into southeast Texas, you can see we've got a cluster evolving now. Now, when I look at this, notice how these storms from Navasota to Huntsville to Jasper really are not making much progress to the south over the last hour. They're just moving west to east like a train down the tracks. That is what we were concerned about in this morning's Texas Weather Roundup, where we were talking about the potential for 5 to 10 inches of rain this evening in spots. That is how this happens, because these storms are producing 3 to 4 inches of rain per hour. And because they just have more and more storms moving over the same areas, that's how you get the high rainfall totals to pile up quickly. And given the fact this area has had 600% of normal rain totals over the last 3 weeks, soils are saturated, the rivers are still in minor to major flood stage, the lakes are beyond full. This is how you get flooding to develop extremely rapidly, and this is how you go from simple street flooding and low water crossings being closed to raging torrents of water causing more widespread life-threatening flooding. So that is going to probably be the biggest issue over the next several hours. I realize flooding isn't as sexy as, tornadoes, hail, damaging wind, but it's a simple matter of fact. I'm more concerned about flooding than I am severe storms at this point. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to have severe storm problems, but flooding is going to be the big problem this evening. Now, if we have one tornado today and it comes down your street, obviously that's a big deal for you, and we're going to be covering it in detail, but I want to set our expectations clearly here that flooding is going to probably be the big newsmaker. And yes, because soils are saturated, trees are going to get knocked over more easily in terms of strong wind gusts. So yeah, we could see a lot of trees knocked down and uprooted too, but flooding is going to be the big deal. And again, we've got storms moving into southeast Texas. We got storms in the Brazos Valley, storms in the piney woods of East Texas. It's raining, it's pouring. I wish I was snoring, but alas. So that's what's going on there. We got scattered showers and rain back up in the North Texas, the Arklatex, Northwest Texas, the Big Country, the Panhandle. Nothing severe with that besides locally moderate to heavy rainfall. We got storms in West Texas, the Permian Basin. These are severe with damaging winds over 70 miles an hour, the potential for hail. Specifically between Andrews and Kermit, big hail. Mohannis, southwest of Mohannis, big hail. Northeast of Rankin, northwest of Big Lake, really big hail. That activity is moving from west to east at about 20 to 35 miles per hour. All right, now, well, it's 5 o'clock. Let's take a look at the state timeline. At least I can show y'all what our expectations are as we go into this evening and overnight. So I'm going to clear everything off the screen. We're going to switch over to the super duper high-resolution rapid refresh model. Again, if I'm not talking about a storm near you, I'm sorry. You can keep track of storms near you or across the country with the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. We have interactive weather radars. You can watch this coverage, your local weather forecast, and more. So what we're going to do is we're going to load the high-res rapid refresh model for now, 5 o'clock. This is literally 5 o'clock right now, so that's pretty darn convenient. You can see it's not doing too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to load this from 6 p.m. through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I'm going to let this load loop, and then I'll play it out. And this is simply to show you what our expectations are overnight into the morning hours. You can see, all things considered, we're probably going to be quiet by about 2 a.m. The complex of storms across West Texas, the Permian Basin, those are going to move east this evening. Big Country, Concho Valley, moving towards North Texas, the Hill Country. This model thinks that storms will weaken as they move east into North Texas and the Hill Country around midnight to 2 a.m. Still, gusty winds, heavy rain possible even when those start weakening. Until then, these could produce damaging winds over 70 miles an hour, the potential for big hail. Big Country, Permian Basin, Concho Valley over the next 4 to 6 hours. Southeast Texas, you can see we're going to be rambunctious through probably 11 o'clock. Flooding rainfall moving into Houston, Southeast Texas, damaging winds, large hail at times. Same thing goes, Piney Woods of East Texas, the Golden Triangle. And I'm going to do something, actually no. And just for curiosity, I'm going to load a product I don't normally show on here. I don't even think I have the color table set. This is forecast rain totals off the high-res model through 4 a.m. Notice this thing's dropping over 7 inches of rain around Beaumont. You know, parts of southeast Texas up to Kirbyville. Keep in mind, if this is right, we're going to have big flooding problems.
A new flash flood warning has been issued for Polk, San Jacinto, and Walker County in Texas.
And again, here is what the radar looks like across the state over the last few hours. All those blue boxes you see pop up, those are flash flood warnings. Orange boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. And then the one red box we had for a wee while in Fayette County, southeast of Giddings, was a tornado warning. The tornado warning is gone. The National Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Fayette County. We have no tornado warnings at this time. We have plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings. We have plenty of flash flood warnings. We have no tornado warnings at this point.
A new tornado warning has been issued for Austin and Washington County in Texas.
Oops. Well, I stand corrected. We do now have a new tornado warning. Why? Well, let's take a look.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Beauregard and Vernon County in Louisiana, Jasper, and Newton County in Texas.
Let's see which radar is closest to this. So, the National Weather Service in Houston has elected to go ahead and issue a tornado warning. This is going to be for portions of...
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Liberty, Polk, and San Jacinto County in Texas.
Portions of Austin, northwestern Austin, southwestern Washington counties in the Brazos Valley until 5:30 p.m. At 5:03 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Shelby or 10 miles west of Brenham, moving east at 45 miles an hour. This tornado warning does not include the city of Brenham at this time, though damaging winds are likely with the complex of storms. This tornado warning includes Shelby to just west of Kenny, east of Round Top, east of Carmine, southeast of Burton. This does not include the city of Brenham. This does not include Industry. This does not include New Ulm. This does not include Belleville, Homestead. This does include Shelby to Industry. Now, since this map clearly isn't showing many landmarks, let me go ahead and put some roads on here, or at least try to. FM 389, southwest of Brenham. You got Dogwood Road. You got Wickle Road. FM 2502, northwest 159 going up towards FM 389. Again, this is all across portions of northwestern Austin, southwestern Washington counties. And this is going to be until 5:30 p.m. This does not include the city of Brenham. This does include Shelby. This does not include Industry, New Ulm, Belleville, Round Top, or Carmine. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing damaging straight-line winds, perhaps a spin-up tornado. This will be passing southwest of the city of Brenham, moving east at 45 miles an hour. We'll switch back over to the How Hard It's Raining mode. You can see this is all just part of a big old cluster of storms. I can put the loop on here and just loop it over the last half hour and show you this cluster's moving pretty quickly off to the southeast. This is going to bring quite a bit of ruckus to the Houston metropolitan area by probably 6:30 p.m. You can see damaging straight line winds, the potential for maybe some hail, and a lot of rain, the potential for a spin-up tornado. And again, there's going to be a lot of damaging wind with this activity. We may or may not have a spin-up tornado. To be perfectly honest with you, if we have a tornado, it's probably embedded within an area of more widespread damaging straight-line winds. It's going to be pretty difficult to tell the difference between a weak tornado and damaging straight-line winds in this situation. And both have the potential to cause problems. There could be some hail in there as well, but these don't look like particularly nasty hailers. They do look like pretty nasty wind and flood makers, and they're moving southeast towards the Houston metro. Now, as we zoom out, we got storms out in West Texas, moving east towards Lubbock, Brownfield, La Mesa, Andrews, Seminole. Could have 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, quarter to golf ball size hail, blowing dust because, well, it's wind in West Texas. If it's windy, it's going to probably blow some of the topsoil around, especially in areas that may be dusty. All right, we did have a report of a brief tornado southwest of Brenham. Or excuse me, Brenham. Yeah, southwest of Brenham.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Ector and Winkler County in Texas.
And again, we could see spin-up tornadoes with this activity in southeast Texas through the evening, along with damaging winds, large hail, flooding rainfall. These storms in West Texas into the Permian Basin are generally moving from west to east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. Main issue with these, damaging winds over 70 miles an hour, blowing dust, quarter to golf ball size hail. These storms in the Permian Basin may have a relatively higher threat of producing hail up to the size of baseballs at times. Notice they're more isolated, supercellular in nature. This one northwest of Big Lake, for example, is a pretty well-organized supercell. The potential for nasty hail with that activity. And it looks like we did have a report of baseball to softball size hail northwest of Big Lake. So again, this storm northwest of Big Lake is producing baseball to softball size hail. Moving towards Stiles, it'll cross over Highway 137 north of Big Lake. Unless it takes a hard right, it'll stay north of the city of Big Lake. We note severe thunderstorm near Kermit. Gonna try to say yippity-doo, yippity-yay, hello Odessa, let's play. So that could end up being a bit of an issue in the hail department for areas west of Odessa on 302 over the next while. Back in central Texas, southeast Texas, the Brazos Valley, the Piney Woods of East Texas, widespread rainfall across parts of North Texas, East Texas, kind of the Arklatex. Worst is to the south of the Arklatex. Widespread rain at this point could cause flooding. Heaviest rains in the Brazos Valley to the Piney Woods of East Texas. Those big flooding potential over the next several hours. Now, across portions of southeast Texas, a cluster of strong to severe thunderstorms is moving east-southeast at, they had it moving at 50, then 60. It's now moving at 45. So again, this cluster of storms from near Brenham to LaGrange, northwest of Columbus to Flatonia, moving southeast at 45 miles an hour. The potential for damaging winds over 60 to 70 miles an hour. Maybe brief tornadoes. The potential for very heavy rainfall. Yes, this is going to make for an unpleasant evening in the Houston area as we continue towards 6:30 p.m. and all this moves into Houston, probably causing a pretty rapid flooding situation to develop, at least street flooding. The bayous, the creeks, the streams are going to get pretty full pretty quick. They're going to start flowing pretty quick at least. Across parts of the Golden Triangle into the Piney Woods of East Texas, potential for more serious flooding to continue over the next few hours. The potential for significant flooding, in fact. So again, that is what we have going on right now. We technically do have a tornado warning until 5:30 p.m. for northwestern Austin, southwestern Washington counties, and southeast Texas / the Brazos Valley. This does not include the city of Brenham. This does not include Belleville. I'll be totally honest with you. We'll switch back over to the high-res radar. This is not a situation where I can pick out a circulation easily on the radar. Here's the how hard it's raining mode. Here's the velocity mode. Yeah, there may be a spin-up tornado in here, but this looks far more like damaging straight-line winds to me. This isn't your supercellular, holy moly, pick out the couplet of doom situation. This is there's damaging winds that are going to knock trees and power lines down. And yeah, there may be a spin-up tornado embedded within that, but I can't pick it out on this radar data. We'll switch around. We'll take a look from the Granger radar. Again, you can see the damaging wind situation here more clearly. Winds in the red and pink moving away from the radar. You can see we've got colors / velocities. I suppose that'd be a more accurate description. Up to about 80 miles an hour here in northwestern portions of Austin and southwestern portions of Washington County, southwest of Brenham. This whole cluster all the way down to Columbus could produce damaging winds 50, 60, 70, maybe even 75 miles an hour. It's moving southeast to 45 miles an hour. We'll take a look from the San Antonio radar, just make sure we're not missing anything. And again, no, we're really not. This isn't a situation where we can pick out a tornado on radar. Yeah, there could be a brief tornado embedded within all this mess, but the damaging wind is going to be far more prevalent. Now, what you're looking at here, this is velocity de-aliasing issue. That's not a valid, ouchies circulation situation. A lot of straight line wind, yes. Tornado, I mean, yeah, there may be a spin-up tornado in there that's down for maybe 10 to 20 seconds. We're not going to see it on this radar data, though, because it's just embedded within a much larger area of damaging straight line wind. So, severe thunderstorm warnings galore. Yeah, moving into southeast Texas. Yes, sir, Bob. It's going to be a pretty nasty situation around Houston later with heavy rain.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Hockley County in Texas.
Damaging winds and flooding. Flooding being the most widespread issue out of this evening. And you can see, I mean, look, all this activity, it's a big old blob of rain. We're not dealing with, discrete supercells in southeast Texas out by their lonesome. We got storms everywhere. It's pouring, it's storming, it's raining, it's going to be flooding. And all that water eventually is going to have to make it downstream into the rivers and lakes, which will be an issue we deal with well into next week. But again, the Brazos Valley, Bryan College Station, it's flooding pretty bad. A lot of roads are underwater. Remember, turn around, don't drown. It would probably be a good idea not to be driving around Bryan and College Station right now, where apparently they're just doing nasty sauce flooding and everything's flooding. Again, they've had the Brazos Valley into the piney woods of East Texas here. Parts of this have had 600% of their normal rainfall totals over the last 2 to 3 weeks. That means soils are saturated. They can't take any water. All the rain that's falling is simply going to run off quickly into streams, creeks, tributaries, lakes. It's just my way of saying it's going to flood really easily. So that's going to be the biggest issue. And again, that's what all these blue boxes are for. And I-45 is not going to be a particularly pleasant experience. Well, it never is, but it's going to be worse than usual over the next several hours. Oh, looks like we'll be getting a happy, big old severe thunderstorm warning out of this, so...
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Austin, Colorado, Fort Bend, Harris, Waller, and Washington County in Texas.
Well, yippity-doo, yippity-yay, ladies and gentlemen, that's a big severe thunderstorm warning. All right, so let's switch back to the state view, just so, one, I could show you a loop of what's going on. Two, I could put the loop on. And three, the satellite looks pretty stinking cool. Okay, so this is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for portions of, I'll just read the list here, Colorado, Austin, Washington, Fort Bend, Waller, into Harris counties. At 5:16 p.m. Central Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from near Brenham to near Industry to near Fayetteville, moving east at 50 miles an hour. These storms are capable of producing damaging straight-line winds over 70 miles an hour. The potential for very heavy rainfall to
Texas
cause
local storm
flooding.
Report from 6 miles north-northwest of Levelland in Hockley County, Texas. Thunderstorm wind gust magnitude measured 61 miles per hour. Reported by emergency manager.
So again, severe storms are moving towards the western sides of Houston. That's going to continue. Houston's going to get hit on the chin here in about an hour to hour and a half. All these blue boxes, Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, the piney woods of East Texas, flash flood warnings. A lot of roads are underwater right now with fast-flowing water. If you don't have to be driving, I would really try to just stay put till things calm down a bit. Notice these storms across eastern Brazos Valley into the piney woods of East Texas are not really moving. Notice how it looks like they're just sitting? Yeah, that's how we end up with 5 to 10 inches of rain in 3 hours in this situation. And given the fact these areas are running 600% above average in terms of the rainfall over the last 2 weeks, that is going to be a really big problem. And we're going to see really fast rises on the creeks and streams. This is where some of these creeks could rise 20 feet in the span of an hour. In some of these areas, like around Livingston, Huntsville, Woodville, Kirbyville, Jasper. We saw that a couple weeks ago. And then that flood wave moved down the San Jacinto River, the Trinity River, here across parts of the Golden Triangle, southeast Texas. That's probably what's going to happen again out of this. We're going to get a whole other flood wave out of this. And then they're going to have to release water pretty quickly from the lakes out here that are already running well above average, so you don't have any issues with, dam overtopping, stuff like that. It's a very fine balancing act, managing the watersheds to keep everything in line. But Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do. And some folks are going to be upset because the rivers are going to be, really bad flooding, which yes, they are. But if we didn't have the various lakes in line here to prevent and try to at least stage some of this water, the flooding would be so much worse. But unfortunately, that's just an element of what we're dealing with. And for what it's worth, if we get an early season tropical system here in June, this is not going to be good. I'll tell you now, there is no room out here for water in the flood control systems, at least, northeast of Houston. So things are not going to be good if we get, an Allison or a slow moving tropical depression or storm or even hurricane coming in here in June, which we might. I mean, we're going to have a very active hurricane season, it looks like. I mean, I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty details because we're dealing with severe storms, but yeah, this is one of these years we're going from El Nino to La Nina, and that really favors above average mischief in the Atlantic tropical basin. And it's certainly not that difficult to get what we call a homegrown tropical system, a system that forms down here in the Bay of Campeche, slowly moves northeast towards Texas in June, or one of these complexes of storms moving off the coast in June that spins up a circulation and you get a tropical cyclone that comes to say hello. Now, we're not going to deal with that right now because we already dealt with it more than I said we were going to do 45 seconds ago, but Baldy and Chiefisms. Okay, we got a tornado warning. I'll be honest, they're garbage. Look, there may be a spin up tornado south of Brenham, southeast of Brenham with these storms. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm more concerned about the damaging winds. Yeah, if there's a spin up quick tornado in here, damaging winds are going to happen from that too, but we got plenty of damaging winds from the line of storms. This is not a situation where I'm able to...
A new flash flood warning has been issued for Allen, Beauregard, and Vernon County in Louisiana.
We got
Newton
damaging
County in
winds.
Texas.
You done? Thank you. We got damaging winds. Independence to Brenham to Chapel Hill, all the way down to Kenny to Belleville. Winds 60, 70 miles an hour probably out of the west-northwest. If there's a spin-up tornado, okay. But frankly, this is a situation where I'm more concerned about the widespread damaging winds. And again, we got other storms going on. I mean, it's flooding. Piney Woods of East Texas, I know. We got lightning, we got rain. And again, we got other storms going on. I mean, it's flooding. Piney Woods of East Texas, I know. We got lightning, we got rain. And again, it's just a big old mess today. We got flooding issues. Flooding's going to be the biggest story out in East Texas, Southeast Texas, by the way. Damaging winds, yes. Hail, maybe. A tornado or two, maybe. Flooding, oh yes. And that story is going to continue well next week again. This is going to be the start of another significant floodway that'll move down rivers towards Houston Metro into the Beaumont area, trying southeast Texas. Now, let's talk about my west. Valdi, we got a little story. This was severe, not severe. Keep an eye on that. Permian Basin. This thing north Big Lake drop, softball size hail, northwest earlier. That storm is crossing over the highway 147 north of Big Lake. Eventually, this move due east, it's going to say hi by 6:30 and for our Green County shortly thereafter. And then that thing so baseball size hail. Further west, Odessa. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is you're going to get some rain The bad news is you're also probably going to get getting hail. Oh, let's switch over to the Permian Basin and see what's going on with Storm Holy Mother Moly. I'll also say this as we put out 70 plus mile an hour winds. So again, Goldsmith, Odessa, pray for 70 to 75 mile an hour winds. From Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay. Interesting. A little bit. So yeah, if you can still hear me, yeah, we are having some internet issues apparently.
Texas local storm report from 5 miles southwest of Town Bluff in Tyler County, Texas. Flash flood. Reported by 911 call center. Additional information, water across FM 2922 around Spurger.
So yeah, we are having some internet issues apparently. Shocking. You can still hear me, yeah, we are having apparently.
Texas local storm report from 5 miles southwest Tyler County, Texas. Reported by 911 call center. Additional information, water across FM 2920.
Okay, well, whatever was going on has stopped. So, I'm not sure what that was about. I don't think it was anything setting-wise on our end. It was just, there was some... Okay, so, Jason, you notice I just closed the drive on production. I'll have to open that up again later, but... Okay, so we've got thunderstorms. This one north of Big Lake, moving east towards Mertzen. Potential for baseball to softball size hail over the next hour, eventually making it towards Tom Green County. We got a severe storm west of Odessa to Goldsmith, moving east at about 20 to 30. That could have 70 mile an hour winds, the potential for golf ball size hail at least, maybe tennis balls, the potential for nasty straight line winds and very heavy rainfall. A little bit of a circulation here near Goldsmith trying to start up. We'll keep an eye on that. Just sounds everywhere.
A new flash flood warning has been issued for Ector and Midland County in Texas. A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Liberty and Polk County in Texas.
Okay, and then we've got storms from near Littlefield to Anton to Smyre on 114, Smyre. Back to Leveland, moving east towards Lubbock and I-27, hail center down to Lubbock. That could have 70 mile an hour winds and some rain. No hail with that. Yeah, Jason, the only thing I could think of is there's some file being uploaded that would do that. I don't know what it would be, but the other streams shouldn't do that. We've got a lot of bandwidth to play with, but one day there'll be fiber, hopefully sooner than later, based on the way things are going. But we got a flash flood warning now. That is going to include the city of Odessa. So again, big hail, big wind, flooding, about to move into Odessa to Goldsmith to Garndale. Expect a rapid onset of flooding. All right, back into central Texas, southeast Texas, etc. Got, oh, that's a pretty nasty looking signature, I'll admit. Tornado warning's gone, by the way.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Beauregard and Vernon County in Louisiana, Newton County in Texas,
Again, pretty nasty surge of wind coming into Bellevue. I'm going to switch over to the terminal Doppler weather radar. This may give us a better look at the wind. And yeah, you can see all these blues. These are winds out of the west-northwest. The radar for Intercontinental Airport, specifically for wind shear, but very good for detecting low-level wind velocities also. Seeing winds over 60 miles an hour. Moving east. Again, you can see all that. We got a wall of dust about to move into Odessa. Good Twitter on X that just came in. Again, all these are winds over 60 to 70 miles an hour, moving from west to east. From Brenham to Bellevue, or excuse me, Belleville. And again, all this is moving towards the Houston metro. It's raining, it's pouring. Can't rule out a spin-up tornado. We have no tornado warnings now, but again, it is going to be pouring rain. And let me real quick, I'm just going to show you high-res rapid refresh model. So we go into this evening. Switch the timestamps. And here you go. Storm southeast Texas will move into Houston over the next hour with flooding, damaging winds, maybe a spin-up tornado. And we're going to have flooding. Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, the Piney Woods of East Texas. Flooding that'll continue through the night, even after it stops raining.
a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Arion County in Texas.
Storms in West Texas, the Permian Basin will be moving into the Big Country, the Concho Valley, with strong winds, maybe damaging winds, a bit of hail, potential for flooding rainfall. Those are expected to weaken as they approach the Hill Country into North Texas around 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. tonight. Scattered showers and storms, isolated to scattered, will continue probably in the Edwards Plateau, South Texas, all the way up through Central Texas, North Texas, through the morning hours tomorrow. And again, that could be the result of some stuff starting back up during the afternoon hours across portions of West Texas into the Permian Basin. We may see a few strong to severe storms again tomorrow afternoon east of the dry line, but far less widespread activity than today. All right, here's the plan of attack. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break, let y'all listen to some music. We'll be back with our next severe weather update here by 5:45 p.m. sooner if necessary. And we'll keep this going through the evening as storms move into Odessa, the Houston metro. Flooding continues across portions of East Texas, Southeast Texas, and the Golden Triangle. We'll be back here in 10 minutes or less.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Reagan County in Texas.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and come back here. I'm getting a little concerned we might have an issue in Odessa pretty quick. We're going to switch back to the high-res radar. Yeah, we got storms in a lot of places again. If we're not talking about a storm near you, that's probably a good thing. I'm getting concerned we might either have very damaging winds or a spin-up tornado about to move into the city of Odessa, especially north sides of Odessa. What we're seeing here, winds well over 75 to 90 miles an hour, about to cross over 338 on the northwest sides of Odessa. This could be either just damaging straight line winds. It could also be a spin up tornado trying to develop. For what it's worth, after this moves through the north sides of Odessa, it may try to make a beeline towards southern portions of Midland. So again, this is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing damaging straight line winds over 70 to 80 miles an hour, maybe a spin up tornado.
A thunderstorm warning has been issued for Hale and Lubbock County in Texas
across portions of, well, the city of Odessa and West Odessa. This could also have wind-driven golf ball to tennis ball size hail. This could be this could be the annual damaging, destructive hailstorm for Odessa. Let's be realistic. We do this like every May or June, and it looks like we're doing it now. So again, Odessa, prepare for wind-driven golf ball to tennis ball size hail. We could have winds over 75 miles an hour. And for what it's worth, we might have a little spin-up tornado here. But damaging hail, damaging winds, flooding, rains. All these blues you see here are winds over 60 miles an hour from Goldsmith all the way down to West Odessa. That'll move into Gardendale, moving into Odessa itself over the next several minutes. Going north, we've got a line of storms producing 60 to 70 mile an hour winds about to move into, well, Lubbock. These aren't even really thunderstorms per se. There's just a lot of wind damage here. And again, 60, 70 mile an hour winds blowing dust. About to move from west to east from Anton to Smyer over to Shallow Water, Wolforth, Lubbock, Abernathy, Lubbock Airport. Next 30 minutes. Down here, southwest of San Angelo. Storms northeast of Big Lake, about to move over 163 north of 67, moving towards Murchison. This storm has a history of producing softball-size hail. Could have damaging straight-line winds. That's going to be crossing over 67 near Murchison in the next hour. And we have a new storm developing southwest of Big Lake. If that moves northeast, that could be an issue for Big Lake. Crane, you've got a storm as well. Houston Metro, line of storms producing winds over 70 miles an hour. Moving from west to east. This could have winds well over 70 miles an hour. This could be a damaging wind event for the western portions of the Houston metropolitan area. Probably bring heavy rain and flooding as well. But again, nasty straight line winds with this. We're going to switch over the terminal Doppler weather radar. It just gives us a better look at the low-level wind fields. You can see winds, yeah, all these blue colors here showing up. Let me turn off that. And again, Pattison, Brookshire, up to Prairie View, we could have winds over 70 miles an hour with this activity moving on in. You could see winds at times over 75 miles an hour. So again, that'll knock over trees, uproot trees, knock down power lines, cause some damage. And that's moving towards, Brookshire, Hockley, Waller, Katy, Prairie View, Pine Island, Hempstead, eventually Tomball, Corville, Jersey Village, Attucks, Mission Bend, and then we get into the inner loop of the Houston Metro. It's about to be nasty sauce. The potential for damaging straight line winds, maybe some pocket change size hail, flooding rains, and yeah, we can't even rule out a spin up tornado. We'll have to keep an eye on this just in case it tries to spin up low level circulation. And then, of course, we got flooding galore. So, again, that's what we're dealing with right now. Odessa, damaging hail and windstorm about to move in. Western Houston Metro, damaging windstorm about to move in with flooding, the potential for maybe a spin-up tornado. Lubbock, damaging winds about to move in from the west with a bit of rain. Odessa, you're going to get flooding too. So that's what we're dealing with right now. All right, we're going to take another 5-minute break. We'll be back here by 5:50 or sooner. Nope, we're gonna stay here.
A new tornado warning has been issued for Austin, Harris, and Waller County in Texas.
All right, it's going to be a tornado warning now. This will be a tornado warning for a circulation. Yeah, you can see it there on this terminal Doppler weather radar. You can see that little hook trying to spin up there. It's going to be a tornado warning that includes a small portion. I want to emphasize small portion of northeastern Austin, central Waller, northwestern Harris County. This does not include Katy, Brookshire. This does not include any part of Houston. Doesn't include Tomball, Corville. This is for a circulation southeast of Hempstead. It does include Highway 290 from Hempstead to Waller to Hockley. So this is going to be a low-level circulation, a possible spin-up tornado developing. I'll put on the tool mode here. It's going to be coming up to Cochran Road, Schmidt Road, FM 362. The potential for a spin-up tornado. We could have winds over 100 miles an hour. You can see the latest update there, moving east, again, towards FM 362, southwest of Waller. This whole line has damaging winds, but we're kind of close enough now to a very high-resolution rapid updating radar where we can nitpick out these circulations. So again, this is a tornado warning southeast of Hempstead, northwest of Katy, does not include the city of Katy, southwest of Waller, southwest of Hockley, moving east at 60 miles an hour. After 362, this will be crossing over Mathis Road. And I'm just putting reference points on here to the best of my ability. And again, these are going to be these quick spin-up circulations. We're probably going to be dealing with these as this whole complex of nasty sauce moves into the Houston metro. So again, possible quick spin-up tornado, 80, 100-mile-an-hour winds. Schmidt Road, Cochran Road moving towards FM 362, Mathis Road eventually towards Warren Ranch Road, Katy Hockley Road, Highway 290 from Prairie View to Waller all the way down to Hockley. If you're in the city of Hempstead, you're fine. Yes, you've got your own problems. I mean, make no doubt. Damaging straight line winds over 80 miles an hour. That's nasty. But if we have a tornado with winds over 100 miles an hour, it's going to be south of Waller, for now at least, southwest of Hockley, moving towards pretty much Hockley at this point. Winds are getting worse, back to the how hard it's raining mode. You can see these little appendages on the leading edge of this line here. Where these kick out, that's where we have stronger damage in straight line winds. You can see the radar is detecting winds over 90 miles an hour around this area. This is moving east towards 99 to 90. And eventually, if it continues, they'll have to extend the tornado warning further into Harris County. Again, this is northwestern sides of the Houston metro. At this point, not an issue for Houston. It will be an issue for Houston the next hour, but for now, it's not. City of Odessa, you've got wind-driven golf ball to tennis ball size hail coming in from the west. Could have winds over 70 miles an hour, flooding rainfall with this activity. I'll say that hook echo is actually getting more pronounced here. Potential for a tornado is actually continuing to increase now. Here, south of Waller, FM 362, between Cochran Road, Mathis Road. Actually, I hate to say this, a very impressive low-level circulation. You'll get an update here in just a second, but this thing's got attitude. You can see there, I mean, we're using a very high-resolution weather radar here. It's used for wind shear detection at Intercontinental. So we're looking from Tomball and Spring looking west. You can see how this hook is actually completely now wrapped around and is quite evident. Earlier, I was talking about how these were difficult to pick out and nitpick on radar. Well, this one's not. This one's easy as pie, if pie was easy to make.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Ector, Glasscock, Martin, and Midland County in Texas.
So again, high probability of a tornado.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Hardin and Tyler County in Texas.
Moving east-southeast towards Warren Ranch Road, Katy Hockley Road, Hubert Road, Mathis Road, FM 362. And again, it's as easy as pie. This radar updates at least once a minute, so this is pretty quick updating information here with this radar source. You can see how this hook is wrapped around completely. It's moving southeast. This whole line of storms has winds over 70 miles an hour probably. Prairie View, Waller, Hockley, Pattison to Brookshire, down to Wallace. I mean, we got winds galore. And you can see a new severe thunderstorm warning that takes it into the Houston metro.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Austin, Fort Bend, Harris, Montgomery, and Waller County in Texas.
And now let me do a reset. We'll show you what's going on. Again, possible tornado near Mathis Road, FM 362, Hubert Road, south of 290, south of Waller, moving east-southeast for now. They'll have to extend this tornado warning if it keeps up, and it's going to move closer and closer to 99 between Interstate 10 and 290. A line of severe thunderstorms capable of producing damaging straight-line winds of 70 to 80 miles an hour. The potential for embedded tornadoes, flooding rainfall, maybe some pocket change size hail. This tornado warning's just west of Cypress. And again, this storm's ramping up. You know, 20, 30 minutes ago, we were talking about a line of storms, 70 mile an hour winds, maybe a brief embedded tornado. This storm has taken on more supercellular characteristics now, which is not good. We've gone from squall line with brief tornadoes to supercell that could be producing more than just a brief tornado. Damaging hurricane force winds. So again, those of you, I'm going to switch this back. And again, I know we've got other storms across Texas. Keep in mind, we're focusing on the most life-threatening storms. We got flood and we got hail, we got rain and hail, wind. West Texas, Permian Basin, Concho Valley, Brazos Valley, Piney Woods of East Texas. We've got a storm capable of producing hurricane force winds and a tornado about to move into a highly populated section of the Houston metropolitan area. So we're going to have to stick with that for now. If you get your own tornado warning, we'll talk more about you. But for now, we're going to have to deal with this. So this is going to be a tornado warning, a line of storms capable of 60 to 80 mile an hour winds, possibly embedded tornadoes moving southeast into Harris County, the Houston metro. All of Houston's going to get storms out of this over the next 60 to 90 minutes. Some of y'all are going to flood. Some of y'all are going to get damaging wind. Some of y'all may have tornado issues. Let's get back to it. We're going to use the terminal Doppler weather radar. It updates very quickly. You can see here, very well-defined circulation. If there's not a tornado here, we probably have winds approaching 90 to 100 miles an hour.
Texas. Hail magnitude estimated 1.75 inches. Reported by public. Additional information, golf ball-sized hail observed at University and Grandview in Odessa.
We got golf ball-sized hail, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds in the city of Odessa. Again, this storm could be producing, if there's not a tornado here, there's probably 70 to 90 mile an hour winds. And we're looking at 300 feet above the ground here. Approaching Warren Ranch Road. Winds approaching 90 miles an hour. Hook echo? Oh yeah, we got a hook echo. You can see that. Again, I'm going to start putting some more roads on here as this continues to move further to the east. You can see the latest scan there. This is about to cross over Mound Road, approaching Warren Ranch Road, and then it'll approach Katy Hockley Road. This will be approaching Highway 99, near or a little south of Highway 290 in the next 5 to 10 minutes. After that, this could be a direct threat to Jersey Village, and eventually this is just going to get more and more populated. But again, you can see how we have a well-defined hook echo swinging out there. Straight line winds for what it's worth. Todd Mission down to Waller. Again, all this, we're seeing winds, well over, 70 miles an hour. We got straight line winds issues. This whole line has straight line winds. Let me switch back to the other radar so you can see the whole line. Look, this whole line is moving southeast into the city of Houston. The Houston Metro. The entire Houston Metro is going to get nasty sauce out of this. Wind, maybe a bit of hail, flooding rains. At times, the potential for embedded tornadoes. They're probably going to have to extend this tornado warning further southeast into Harris County, which means those of you from Addicks to Jersey Village to Satsuma, maybe even Corville, southwest side to Tomball, may be under a tornado warning shortly. This is going to be a tornado warning with a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. Whole line has 60 to 80 mile an hour winds. Possible tornado. There you go. Approaching Warren Ranch Road. Here you can see the velocity data with this. Winds, those blue colors you're seeing, those are winds well over 75 miles an hour. Warren Ranch Road, this is now east of FM 362.
Texas local storm report from 6 miles northeast of Odessa in Ector County, Texas. Thunderstorm wind gust magnitude estimated 65 miles per hour. Reported by NWS employee. Additional information, estimated 60 to 70 miles per hour wind gusts at Billy Hempstead and SH-191.
So again, those are storms out in the Permian Basin, and yeah, we got storms everywhere, but we're having to focus on the most serious of them right now, and it's this guy moving into a highly populated area with a possible tornado. We'll go look at the other storms in just a minute, though. You can see, when I said how quickly this radar updates, this is the radar, the wind shear. It's called a terminal Doppler weather radar. It detects wind shear for intercontinental. So it updates, every 20 seconds. You can see we've got winds. And I'll try to zoom in here to where you can see it. I know the road name's blocking it. 90 to 100 miles an hour. Approaching Highway 99 between Interstate 10 and 290. This is moving east-southeast at 50 miles an hour into and towards Jersey Village and then the Houston Metro. All right, let's real quick go to Odessa Midland. We got issues with golf ball size hail. We got issues with wind. Those of you Odessa Midland, boy, that's not good, I'll tell you that. And again, we're looking right off the ground here, too. We could see winds well over 80 miles an hour on north sides of Odessa up to Gardendale. That's moving right towards the city of Midland. So Midland, you're about to get rock and rolled. You've got the potential for winds of 70, 90 miles an hour, golf ball size hail. Next 30 minutes. This storm moving northeast right up I-20 towards city of Midland. So Odessa, you're getting hammered right now. You've got wind, you got hail. You're probably going to have street flooding galore. Midland is going to be your turn in the next 30 minutes.
A new tornado warning has been issued for Harris and Waller County in Texas.
Mertzlon, you've got a big hailer too. That's staying southwest of San Angelo. All right, we need to get back to Houston. We've got a new tornado warning now. This is going to include more population. We're going to talk about who's in and who's out. Let me press some buttons on here real quick. Again, I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy and Chief David Reimer. It is 5:58. We now have a tornado warning for a thunderstorm moving into Harris County. At 5:55 p.m., a possible tornado was located near Hockley, 10 miles southeast of Prairie View, moving east at 40. You can see it clear as day on this radar. This tornado warning does include Addicks, Jersey Village, Satsuma. This will be near Cypress at 6 p.m., Jersey Village and Addicks Park 10 around 6:10. Spring Branch West, Northern Eldridge, West Oaks, and Willowbrook around 6:15. Addicks and Memorial are also included in this tornado warning. It is worth noting, at its present course, this is pretty much moving right down 290 towards the city of Houston. So, again, this is a tornado warning. That means you need to take your tornado safety precautions. That's going to be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible if you are in a sturdy site-built structure. We don't want folks trying to take shelter from this in a vehicle, a mobile home, a trailer, an RV, anything like that. We'd encourage you to try to find a sturdy site-built structure nearby, like a gas station, a hotel, a fast food establishment, somewhere where you can go inside and take shelter. So again, that's what we have right now. You can see Hook Echo clear as day, and that is moving southeast at about 40 miles per hour. And this is a tornado warning for eastern Waller and portions of Harris County. And this is going to be until 6:30 p.m. for a possible tornado approaching Highway 99 near or a few miles south of Highway 290, moving southeast at 40 miles an hour towards Jersey Village and Attucks. This is going to be very near Cypress. Those of you who need to be in a safe place, it's going to be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Hard sole shoes. You got a bicycle helmet handy? Hey, just go ahead and grab it. That's okie dokie. It'll help you out if you end up having flying debris, but if not, it's okie dokie too. Just go ahead and, get away from exterior walls, get away from windows. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. We'll get through this A-okay.
A new flash flood warning has been issued for Martin and Midland County in Texas.
It's gonna be all good. So again, those of you in Jersey Village, Cypress, Attucks Park 10, Spring Branch West, Northern Eldridge, West Oaks, and Willowbrook, Attucks and Memorial, you need to go to your safe place now. You're under a tornado warning. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. It's going to be okay. This storm could have some nasty wind with it, even if there's not a tornado. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and let this play out over the last half hour. You can see, yes, this storm's been moving southeast. Pretty clear-cut indications of a hook echo on here. That doesn't mean we necessarily have a tornado down. We haven't received reports of a tornado down at this point, but even if we don't have a tornado, this could be producing nasty, damaging straight-line winds. You can see we're now moving into a pretty populated section of the western Houston metro here. Plenty of neighborhoods crossing over Highway 99, now about to cross into Jersey Village in Cypress. And again, you just need to go ahead and move to an interior room, lowest floor, hallway, put yourself between as many walls as the outside as possible. No windows. We don't want you to get hurt by flying glass if we have that issue. And we're going to get through this A-okay. This thing's moving pretty quickly at about 40, 45 miles an hour, so it won't last long at any particular location. If we don't have a tornado down, we could have some pretty strong winds on the order of 60 to 70 miles an hour. And again, this isn't a situation where you need to be, scared witless. It's just a situation where you take shelter in an interior room for a while. It's going to be okie dokie. We may lose some trees, some power lines, but it's going to be okay. Odessa, you've had a pretty hard hit from wind and hail. That storm's going to be moving towards Midland over the next 20 to 30 minutes. That means the potential for damaging straight line winds, the potential for some pretty nasty hail. But it's going to be okay. So again, that's what we're dealing with in the western Houston metro. This is moving down 290 towards Jersey Village, Addicts, and eventually they'll probably extend this down into the city of Houston. So again, this will be a tornado warning for portions of Harris County, eastern Waller County, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing damaging straight-line winds, and a tornado. Now, approaching Spencer Road, east of Highway 99. Eventually, now this is going to be moving towards Highway 6, Spencer Road 529 here in Jersey Village. Again, let me show you the velocities here. Yeah, we could have some nasty damaging straight line winds. I'm going to look from a different radar a little further away just for a different angle. And this is what the hobby radar is showing. And again, I want you to look. This is showing winds well over 70 miles an hour. That doesn't necessarily mean we've got, crazy stuff going on here, but I'll be honest, this is not looking pretty good for Jersey Village right now in terms of very damaging winds. Even if we don't have a tornado here, we could have winds approaching 100 miles an hour. So those of you in Jersey Village, Katy, Cypress, you need to be in a safe place. Those of you in Spring Valley to Houston, frankly, you're up next. You need to be in a safe place too. And again, we're focusing on the most intense storms right now. I realize we got storms in a lot of places right now, but we need to focus on those that pose the highest threat to life and property. Winds of 80 to 100 miles an hour, maybe a tornado approaching Barker Cypress Road, Logan Ball Road, Line Greenhouse Road. This will be crossing over Highway 6 near Little York Road, coming up towards Great Glen Drive, Pine Forest Lane. Again, this is a highly populated area. Jersey Village, Attic, Cypress. Please be in a safe place. It's going to be the lowest floor, center room. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, all right? That's what we want you to do. We want you to be safe. It's going to be okay. This won't last more than 5 to 10 minutes, but it's about to get really windy, dangerously windy. We're worried about windows being broken out. We're worried about, some stuff flying around. We don't want anybody to get hurt. So we want folks to be in a safe place, and that will be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. If you're in an apartment, hey, you know what? Just put yourself between as many walls as you can from the outside. We don't want you near windows. That's going to be the main message here.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Crockett, Irion, Schleicher, and Tom Green County in Texas.
So again, it is 6:07 p.m. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy and Chief David Reimer. We have a dangerous situation in the Houston metro with a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, hurricane force winds of 80 to perhaps 90 miles an hour. Now in Cypress, Attucks, about to move into Jersey Village. This thunderstorm has the potential to cause big problems. Does that mean you need to be freaking out? No. You just simply need to do what we've told you to do this whole time. That's going to be just, interior room, hallway, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I'm going to have to reset this program real quick. But again, we have storms going in the Permian Basin, the Concho Valley, West Texas with hail damaging winds. Midland, you're about to get hit with a storm producing golf ball size hail, 70 mile an hour winds. City of Lubbock, you're about to get hit with some pretty nasty wind as well. We've got flooding in the Brazos Valley into East Texas, the Golden Triangle. We have a storm capable of producing winds of 80 to 100 miles an hour and a possible tornado in western Harris County, riding down Highway 290. This is going to be moving out of Cypress, out of Addicks, into Jersey Village the next several minutes. From there, Spring Valley to Hunters Creek Village, and eventually this will be a direct threat to downtown Houston. And again, I'll switch radar sources real quick and show you what we're looking at in terms of wind. Again, there's a lot of noise here, but we're seeing winds from the radar approaching 90 to 100 miles an hour. Moving down into Jersey Village, this will cause widespread power outages. This could be a situation where we're dealing with a significant impact to the grid across parts of the Houston metro.
A new flash flood warning has been issued for Hardin County in Texas.
Again, I need to emphasize we're seeing winds now of 100 to 120 miles per hour in Cypress and Jersey Village. Even if we don't have a tornado here, this is major hurricane equivalent wind. This will cause significant wind damage. You need to be in a safe place. That does not mean you need to be standing at a west or north facing window filming outside as your little tree on your lawn gets blown down. No, that's not what we're here to tell you to do. We're telling you to get into an interior hallway, an interior room, get away from windows. We don't want folks getting hurt if glass ends up being broken by flying debris or wind. The potential for hurricane force winds, destructive hurricane force winds. You know, we're not talking Cat 1 winds here. We're talking Cat 2, Cat 3. If you want to go on the Saffir-Simpson wind scale for hurricanes, which it's Houston, we can do that down here. This is bigly type major hurricane force wind gusts coming down the Highway 290 here. So y'all need to be in a safe place, all right? We don't want you going outside looking at things while you've got a hurricane blowing things down the road. We need you to be in a safe place. Lowest floor, center room, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible.
Texas local storm report from 6 miles north of Barnhart in Irion County, Texas. Hail magnitude measured 2.75 inches. Reported by Storm Chaser.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a storm track on this. You can see how we're kind of bowing out here. This is now moving probably at about, I mean, honestly, this may be moving at 55 to 60 miles an hour. If that's the case, this will be in downtown Houston by 6:30. So again, this is going to be pretty nasty, damaging winds in the city of Houston by 6:30. Jersey Village, you're taking it on the chin right now. Damaging winds potentially well over 80 miles an hour. Those of you in Jersey Village, to Addicks, to Spring Valley, tornado warning or not, you need to get away from windows, west-north facing windows especially. The potential for significant major wind damage from this thunderstorm with hurricane force wind gust. And again, this is going to knock power out to a lot of people. In fact, across western sides of Houston, this has already knocked out power to nearly 60,000 people. Just this one storm has managed to knock out 60,000 customers off CenterPoint Energy's tracker here in just the last 20 minutes. So again, this is going to cause significant, widespread power outages with the potential for these power outages to exceed 6 figures at times. Again, this is nasty. This is going to be a situation where we're going to have very damaging winds moving down 290. This is about to cross over Highway 6 and then Highway 8. Those of you in western Harris County, understand, we could have winds 60, 70 miles an hour all the way from near Rosenberg all the way up to Tomball, but we're seeing a corridor of 80 to 120 mile an hour winds moving down 6 right now in 290 across Jersey Village, Addicks. This will be moving into Spring Valley, Hunters Creek Village, west sides of Houston, Bel Air, and eventually downtown Houston. All right, we've got a tornado warning that does include all of Houston now.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Reagan County in Texas. A new tornado warning has been issued for Harris County in Texas.
The time is 6:13 p.m. A tornado warning for Harris County. This does now include all of the city of Houston. If you are in the city of Houston, you now need to take your tornado safety precautions. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. A thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado and hurricane force winds of 80 to 120 miles per hour is riding down Highway 290 in Jersey Village. This will be near Jersey Village, Hunters Creek Village, Bunker Hill Village. And while I say all this, I'm going to actually put a loop on here. Give me just a second so I can do this. Y'all can see what's going on. I'm going to read out the timeline. Spring Branch West, Spring Branch North, Addicks Park 10, Spring Valley, Hedwick Village, Hillshire Village around 6:15. Afton Oaks, River Oaks, Greater Heights, Memorial Park, Acres Home, Sharpstown, Greater Uptown, Lazybrook, Timber Grove by 6:20. Bel Air, West University Place, Neartown, Montrose, Greenway, Upper Kirby area, South North Side, North Line, University Place, South Side Place, the Galleria, Gulfton, Braeswood around 6:25, Astrodome, McGregor, Northside Houston, Downtown Houston, Midtown Houston, 4th Ward, Greater 5th Ward, Greater Eastwood, 2nd Ward, Greater 3rd Ward around 6:30, Sunnyside, Houston Gardens, Central Southwest, Gulfgate, Riverview, Pine Valley, Denver Harbor, Port Houston, Eastix, Jensen around 6:35, Pleasanton around 6:40 p.m. This tornado warning includes Minute Maid Park, Discovery Green, TDECU Stadium, Rice Stadium, Memorial, and Shell Energy Stadium. This is a tornado warning. Take your tornado safety precautions now. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We encourage you strongly to be away from west and north facing windows. Even if we do not have a tornado, we could have hurricane force winds of 80 to 120 miles an hour now moving into Harris County.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Fort Bend, Harris, and Montgomery County in Texas.
This includes the city of Houston. A thunderstorm capable of producing 80 to 120 mile per hour winds, the equivalent of a Category 3 major hurricane, and a tornado is riding down Highway 290. This storm will cause widespread, significant wind damage. Power is going to get knocked out to a lot of people. Those of you in the city of Houston, Jersey Village, Spring Valley, Hunters Creek, the Bel Air, all of the city of Houston in the outer and inner loop need to take your tornado safety precautions. If you are in a site-built residential home, that's going to be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Specifically, as many walls as possible between you and the outside, west and north-facing windows, and walls especially. Please avoid west and north-facing windows. We're going to have a lot of stuff flying around here with these winds. We don't want you being hurt by flying glass or debris. If you are in an apartment building, just put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This is a situation where, yes, we're probably going to have some roof damage, but I'm more concerned about windows breaking, especially west and north-facing windows. We want you to be in a safe place. So again, apartment building, it's going to be okay. Just put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Be away from windows. If you are in a mobile home, a trailer, a commercial vehicle, a vehicle regardless, an RV, you need to move into a sturdy site-built structure. Avoid travel clearly at this point across Houston. You do not want to be stuck on a road in gridlock traffic when you've got hurricane force winds coming down the highway.
Texas local storm report from 11 miles west-southwest of Mertzon in Irion County, Texas. Hail magnitude measured 1.50 inches. Reported by public.
This thunderstorm is capable of producing winds of 80 to 120 miles an hour, the potential for a tornado in the very populated section of Houston. Power outages on the west side of Houston have now gone from 60,000 to 80,000 in the last 5 minutes. Those numbers will likely spike into the hundreds of thousands in the next several minutes as this extremely powerful, dangerous thunderstorm continues to move east-southeast across the Houston metropolitan area. This thunderstorm has the potential and history of producing winds of 80 to 120 miles per hour. A tornado is also possible. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm more concerned about the widespread damaging winds. Widespread damaging winds to the equivalent of an EF1, EF2 tornado are possible, meaning a mini hurricane. It's a mini major hurricane, is the best way I can put it. Y'all in Houston should be able to get that reference pretty easily. Worst winds right now: Jersey Village, Addicks, Hunters Creek Village, moving into the western parts of the city of Houston. Bel Air, Spring Valley, the next several minutes. I'm going to switch off the how hard it's raining. I'm going to put on the which way the wind's blowing mode. And again, winds well over 90 to 100 miles an hour being detected. Jersey Village, Hunters Creek Village, Spring Valley. This is a dangerous situation with the potential for significant hurricane force winds with major wind damage. This is going to knock a lot of trees down. This is going to cause roof damage. This is going to cause major damage to the power infrastructure around here. This is going to be like a hurricane moving through. You know, Ike. Let's just use Ike as a reference. Not the surge, but the wind. Winds over 100 miles an hour. You remember how it knocked the power out and caused such significant damage? Where this storm is tracking, that is what's going on right now in terms of wind damage. We're losing a lot of the power grid here. This is not going to be a situation where some of these folks are going to get power back in the next few days, probably, just because of the amount of wind damage we have. Storms riding down Highway 290 now in the inner loop, approaching the inner loop. Power, holy moly. We now went from 80,000 to 120,000 customers without power on CenterPoint Energy in the west sides of Houston. We just lost 40,000 customers in the last 3 minutes. So again, this is causing widespread damage to the power grid, to the point where I'm sure the surrounding agencies across, well, the southern United States are probably going to have to send folks in to help in terms of grid repairs. Again, a destructive thunderstorm, winds of 100 to 120 miles an hour, moving southeast down Highway 290. This is impacting Interstate 10 now from Addicks to Interstate 610. This is impacting the west sides of the city of Houston. Those of you in Houston, you are under a tornado warning. Be in shelter now. If you're within 30 miles of Houston, especially the west north sides of Houston, you're in this warning. Be in a safe place. That'll be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Take a look how quickly this storm is moving. You can see it. This is for all intent and purposes, a 20-minute loop. Look how quickly these storms are moving. That's because they're producing 80 to 120 mile per hour winds. And again, this is a dangerous situation. You need to be in an interior room. Please be away from windows. Lowest floor, center room. Specifically at this point, just put as many walls between you and the west and north facing sides of your residence as possible. Get away from windows. Windows could be broken out by this. The potential for significant wind damage. You're probably going to lose power. We're going to probably lose trees. Do not approach any down power lines. Live or not, they could be live. You don't know that. Please avoid the power lines. Avoid down power lines.
Texas local storm report from 5 miles west of Midland in Midland County, Texas. Flash flood. Reported by broadcast media. Additional information, over-the-curb flash flooding on the SH-191 service road on the west side of Midland.
So again, if you are in the city of Houston, this is a tornado warning. At 6:22 p.m., a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado and destructive straight-line winds over 100 miles per hour was located over Spring Branch north, moving southeast at 40. This thunderstorm will be near Bel Air, West University Place, Hunters Creek Village, Bunker Hill Village, Piney Point Village, Afton Oaks, River Oaks, the Astrodome, Neartown, Montrose, McGregor, Northside Houston around 6:30, the next 5 minutes. Lawndale, Wayside, Sunnyside, South Park, Magnolia Park, Houston Gardens, Central, Southwest Houston, Gulf, Gabe, Riverview, Pine Valley, and Denver Harbor, Port Houston by 6:35. Clinton Park Tri-Community, Pleasantville area around 6:40. North Shore, El Dorado, Oaks Prairie around 6:45. This tornado warning includes Minute Maid Park, Discovery Greens, TDECU Stadium, Rice Stadium, Shell Energy Stadium, and Memorial. This is a tornado warning. Even if we have no tornado, destructive hurricane force winds of 80 to 120 miles per hour are moving through Harris County. This will not uniformly impact the entirety of Harris County. This will bring destructive hurricane-like wind damage to parts of the city of Houston, Jersey Village, Bel Air. This is going to be a significant impact to the power grid. Some folks are not going to have power back for days. The potential for downed trees, damage to buildings. We're going to have a lot of wind damage. Please be away from west and north-facing windows. We do not want you to be hurt by flying glass. If we have something like a tree branch hit your window, this is a situation where folks in the city of Houston need to be in a safe place. Power outages have gone from 120,000 to 200,000 customers now.
Storm report from Crane in Crane County, Texas. Hail magnitude measured 1.00 inch.
Centerpoint
by amateur radio.
Centerpoint Energy now reporting 200,000 customers without power, especially on the west sides of Houston. This will likely double to triple in the next 30 minutes as this moves across Houston. This will be a situation where we may have hurricane-like damage in terms of wind. I'm going to stop this loop. I'm going to show you the wind. Again, I'm just going to let's show you. Again, this is not good. Folks, I want you to understand. This is a relatively large area, equivalent to that of a hurricane eye wall of major hurricane force winds moving through the west sides of Houston. I'll be honest, I haven't seen something like this in a very long time. Wind gusts of 100 to 130 miles an hour. Folks, this is going to be one that goes down in the books in terms of damage from a thunderstorm in the city of Houston. And for some folks, this is going to look like Ike from 2008 in terms of all the trees and power lines. So again, this is extremely dangerous. I want you to understand this, and why I'm emphasizing the need for you to be away from west-north-facing windows. If you are in the city of Houston, Spring Valley, Bel Air, West University Place, this will be approaching the John Dunn Helistop Airport. Winds of a Category 3 hurricane, Ike level, coming in. This has already knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of people in just the last 5 minutes in the west sides of Houston. This is probably causing significant damage. There is going to be, it's going to look like a major hurricane hit the west sides of Houston when this is done. All the way from Jersey Village down 290 to Spring Creek, Spring Village, Hunters Creek Village, Bel Air. I want you to understand, tornado or not, I don't care if there's a tornado here. If there's a tornado, okay, we're still got tornado-like winds over a span of 5 to 15 miles over the west sides of Houston. Spring Valley, Hunters Creek Village, Bel Air, West University Place. The storms are moving southeast. at 55 miles an hour. The potential for winds of 100 to 130 miles an hour moving southeast at about 55 miles an hour. Those of you in Houston proper, it's about to get nasty, especially the west sides of Houston. Downtown Houston, winds are increasing now. They're about to get a lot worse. Again, this is a situation where those of you in the city of Houston need to be in a safe place because tornado or hurricane force winds, this is not a good situation. But it's going to be okay. It's going to get windy. Y'all are built for this. Houston, you survived Ike, you'll survive this. But yeah, it's not going to be pretty for a little while. Those of you in the city of Houston need to be in a safe place now. That'll be the lowest floor, center room. I want you to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Storm itself now entering downtown Houston, west, north sides of Houston. For what it's worth, this storm could also have some hail with it. We haven't really gotten any hail reports out of this. That doesn't mean there's no hail. So those of you in Houston, again, I've talked about the radar scale. It doesn't get higher than this. Like, literally, the radar velocities are maxed out here with straight line winds of 100 to 130 miles an hour. This is going to go down in the books for one of the most destructive storms we've seen down here in a long time. You know, with wind damage. I mean, good grief, we're seeing winds, again, 100 to 130 miles an hour. It's like an eye wall of a hurricane coming through the west sides of Houston, about to move into downtown Houston. This is a life-threatening situation, okay? You need to be in a safe place. Please, get away from west-north facing windows. These are the kind of winds that can take roofs off houses.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Glasscock, Midland, Reagan, and Upton County in Texas.
I mean, this is not good, but we're going to get through it. It'll last probably 5 to 10 minutes with hurricane force winds. All right? You're going to probably lose power. I mean, this is going to be one of these events where some of the parts of this grid are going to have to just get replaced. So power's going to go out, and some folks, you may not have power for days. A lot of trees are going to come down. We don't want folks to get hurt if a tree falls on your home or your business. Please do not be traveling out here right now. I cannot stress the number of roads that are going to be blocked by downed trees or just debris. We're probably going to have some pieces of buildings that are blocking roads out here. So again, city of Houston, this is a life-threatening situation. We have straight line winds of 100 to 130 miles per hour, the potential for a tornado. This is we're not talking just, destructive winds. We're talking extreme winds here. If this was a hurricane, we'd have an extreme wind warning for category 3 or higher winds. You can see how hard it's raining mode. If we had a tornado, and clearly I don't care if we have a tornado or not because it's dangerous regardless. The hook echoes right over downtown Houston. Circulation. I mean, oh no. I mean, this is the kind of wind that could knock windows out of some of these high-rise buildings, folks. It did in 2008 with Ike. Again, we're seeing winds now on the backside of this thunderstorm. Winds over 100 miles an hour impacting downtown Houston. So again, this is going to be bad. Power outages now, 350,000 customers in CenterPoint's Energy's grid. Again, this is annihilating the grid. This is not going to be a simple, they have to come out and repair some lines. Folks, they're going to have to replace parts of their entire grid. This is going to be the power outages here, honestly, at this point, we may have nearly 1 million folks without power by the time this is done. This is not a short duration event. This is going to be an event where we are dealing with potentially catastrophic damage to some of the parts of CenterPoint's power grid. I hope not. But this is the kind of wind that we saw in Ike in 2008, and it's coming into downtown Houston now. So again, I know we have storms elsewhere. We got flooding, big flooding problems. We got storms in the Permian Basin, the Concho Valley with wind, but we have the equivalent of a major hurricane moving through downtown Houston right now. And this is causing major problems. Okay, we're going to switch back terminal Doppler weather radar. At some point, we're probably going to lose the radar data simply because we may end up not having power or data. The lines just may go down. So, yes, we could have a tornado over downtown Houston. We have hurricane force winds well over 100 miles an hour in downtown Houston right now, regardless. Tornado or wind, I do not care. You need to be in a safe place. We're likely going to see this tornado warning extended into Galena Park, Cloverleaf, Pasadena, Deer Park, South Houston, Channelview, eventually probably to Baytown and LaPorte. Look, y'all, this is coming towards y'all. What it's done now in downtown Houston, winds of 100 to 130 miles an hour, all the way to the north sides of Houston, up 45 towards Highway 8. It's moving towards the east sides of Houston now. 65-mile-an-hour wind at Houston Dunn Airport. And again, that is where the velocities are only half of what's showing up over downtown Houston, north sides of Houston. Folks, y'all need to be in a safe place. I keep saying that, but if you are in Houston, east sides of Houston, southeast sides of Houston, Humont Park, Cloverleaf, Jacinto City, Galena Park, Pasadena, South Houston, Deer Park, Channelview, you've got minutes before winds of 70, 80, 90, up to 120 miles an hour come in, and the possibility of a tornado. We could have hail.
Texas local storm report from 5 miles north-northwest of Odessa in Ector County, Texas. Thunderstorm wind gust magnitude measured 71 miles per hour. Reported by ASOS. Additional information, ASOS station Kodo Odessa. A
Okay,
new
let's...
tornado warning has been issued for Brazoria, Galveston, and Harris County in Texas.
Okay, I'm going to just turn the polygon
Texas
on.
local storm report
Okay, no,
from
we're not doing this right now. Be quiet. Okay, so we've got a new tornado warning until 7 p.m. This does include parts of Harris, Brazoria, Galveston counties. This includes South Houston, Pasadena, Deer Park, LaPorte, Baytown, Channelview, Galena Park, South Houston, Hobby Airport, Webster. Those of you in this, y'all need to be in a safe place now. Lowest floor, center room. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We've got a report of 76-mile-an-hour wind gust in Midland with hail. We just had a report of I'm not sure if that's a valid report, Jason. I mean, it might be, but the wind itself is problematic enough. I don't recognize the ID. So, regardless, tornado damaging wind, city of Houston, bad. It's like Ike's moving through downtown Houston right now in terms of how strong the winds are. And again, it's maxing out. I mean, y'all probably have never seen the colors like this on here. Maybe the Derecho in East Texas last June where we had winds like this. But again, winds well over 100 miles an hour. Downtown Houston, moving into Galena Park, Pasadena. You need to be in a safe place. Tornado or not, we have extreme winds.
For Liberty, Polk, and San Jacinto County.
Unofficially, we had an unofficial report of a tornado just southeast of downtown Houston a few minutes ago. I'll be honest, tornado or not, this is just not good. We're getting pictures now from Cypress of high-tension power poles that have been, the metal ones, you know, the really tall metal ones, they're snapped. They're laying on the ground. Folks, it takes winds of a strong tornado to do that. So, folks, we have clearly had winds of 100 to 120 miles an hour, and we're losing not only local parts of the power grid, we're losing the high-tension power poles, those really tall metal structures that you think, wow, how could wind knock that down? It is. So, folks, understand, we're dealing with the equivalent of a major hurricane, wind-wise, hitting Houston right now. This is a situation where we're going to have major, major infrastructure damage. So please be in a safe place. If you're in Galena Park, Pasadena, South Houston, Channelview, Cloverleaf, be in a safe place. This tornado warning includes, I'm just going to read the list. Hobby Airport, Channelview, Clear Lake, Cloverleaf, Galena Park, San Jacinto City, South Houston, Deer Park, Pasadena, Ellington, the South Belt by 640. Western Baytown, San Jacinto State Park by 6:45. Webster, Morgan's Point, the Johnson Space Center by 6:50. Minute Maid Park, Discovery Green, Shell Energy Stadium, TDECU Stadium. All the potential for hurricane force to major hurricane force winds that could cause major, major, major damage. Please be in a safe place. That's the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. We have a possible tornado debris signature now in northeast Houston. So yeah, we may have a tornado down. Again, I don't want to distract what's going on here. Tornado or straight line winds. Regardless, we've got major problems here. You need to be in a safe place. I don't care if it's 100 to 130 mile an hour straight line winds or 100 to 130 mile an hour tornado. In this case, it doesn't matter. You need to be in a safe place. Both are equally dangerous, destructive, and life-threatening. Please be in a safe place. That's going to be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you're in an apartment building, that's okay. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you are in a mobile home or trailer, that's not going to do. You're better off being outside in a vehicle, to be honest with you. I mean, both are really bad situations, but I mean, at least if you park your car straight into the wind, you might be okay versus a trailer or mobile home. If you get 100, 130 mile an hour winds broadside, that thing's rolling. So please be in a safe place. Do what you need to protect your family, but understand this is an incredibly dangerous situation with hurricane to major hurricane force winds up to 130 miles an hour impacting the eastern sides of the city of Houston right now. We've still got winds back in north and west Houston, probably still over 50 to 60. Now, let's talk about who's clear. Spring Valley, you're clear. Jersey Village, you're clear. Hedwig Village, you're clear. Meadows, it's windy. It's pouring rain, it's storming, but the worst is to your east. But again, possible tornado near Cloverleaf, Beaumont Place, San Jacinto City, south of Beaumont Park. Damaging straight line winds the entire city of Houston, especially now the east sides of Houston. Understand, when we got colors like this, we don't see colors like this often. The last time I saw this was the Derecho in East Texas. Folks, understand, please understand the urgency here. You need to be in a safe place. Now, very quickly, very, very quickly, I'm going to go look and see what's going on in the Permian Basin. We had a 76 mile an hour wind gust in Midland. Again, Midland, we talked about y'all earlier. Big wind, big hail, flooding. Line of storms now all the way down to McCamey, Rankin, moving east. We got a couple supercells southwest of San Angelo moving southeast. This line from Midland to Stand to Rankin going to move east over the next several hours. The potential for damaging straight line winds over 70 miles an hour. The potential for hail. Storms southwest of San Angelo, southeast of Mertzon, southeast of Big Lake, kind of moving towards Menard, El Dorado over the next hour. Could have golf ball to baseball size hail. We got flooding, Brazos Valley, Piney Woods of East Texas into the Golden Triangle. It's still pouring rain out here in the Piney Woods. Big flooding issues. And then Houston, we have a very dangerous situation, a rare situation with thunderstorms moving through right now. San Jacinto City to Galena Park, you have winds over 80 to 100 miles an hour and the possibility of a tornado. We may have had a tornado debris signature a moment ago near San Jacinto City and the northeast sides of Houston. Regardless of tornado or damaging winds, in this case, both are on the extreme end of the risk scale. You need to be in a safe place. If you're in downtown Houston, it's winding down. It's still windy, but it's about to be over. It's going to keep pouring rain. Please do not approach down utility lines, regardless of if the power is out or not. We don't want folks trying to mess with them. They are dangerous. You never know when they might become re-energized. And I guarantee you we have an inordinate amount of power lines down. It's just not good. Last report was 477,000 customers without power on CenterPoint alone in the Houston metro. I guarantee you now that's probably going to be over 600,000 in the next update in just a few minutes. So again, this is a major problem. Okay, here's an update from the Weather Service in Houston. And again, this storm's moving east-southeast at 50 miles an hour. LaPorte, Baytown, Deer Park, Channelview, Highlands, Beach City, you're next on the list for extremely destructive straight-line winds, maybe a tornado. I'm focusing on the wind. The wind's going to be the much more widespread issue here. If we get a tornado embedded within this, okay, it's still going to be just as bad as the wind in some of these cases. At 6:42 p.m., a severe storm capable of producing a tornado was located over northwestern Pasadena, moving east of 45. This is tornado warning includes northern Pasadena, Baytown, Deer Park.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Hardin, Jasper, Newton, and Tyler County in Texas.
Northern Pasadena, Baytown, Deer Park, Northern Clear Lake, Channelview, Morgan's Point, San Jacinto State Park, Ellington Field, the Houston Ship Channel. Hurricane force winds of 80 to 110 miles an hour. Wind may have come down just a little bit now, versus 130. Well, maybe not. I mean, look at San Jacinto State Park. We're seeing wind velocities 110 miles an hour on the radar. We're not looking all that far up off the ground, folks. It clearly is possible we're dealing with winds in the extreme category. I mean, good gravy. And look, the initial concern right now is keeping folks safe. This is going to be a major utility disaster when this is over. But we're going to deal with that after the fact. A lot of you probably around Houston have no power. Some of you around Houston are not going to have power for days. I can tell you that now. The exact timeline, I can't tell you that. But I guarantee you there will have to be a major mutual aid utility effort put into this because there is going to be a massive amount of utility damage to repair. We've seen pictures of the high tension power lines, those massive metal structures bent to the ground back over near Spring Valley.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Irion, Schleicher, and Tom Green County in Texas.
I mean,
a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Glasscock, Howard, Martin, and Midland County in Texas.
I'll be honest. The last time we may have seen a wind event like this in terms of the caliber and severity in Houston may have been Ike in 2008. At least in terms of the amount of damage we may have over a highly densely populated area. I'm probably missing a more recent event, but again, this is not good. But our main goal here is keeping folks safe. We'll deal with the aftermath here when it's safe to do so. Houston, it's pouring rain. We're probably going to have some flooding problems. That's going to be exacerbated if we have, vegetation, down trees, etc., blocking some of the tributaries in the grounds and the bayous. Damaging wind, downtown Houston, the inner loop of Houston. East sides of that, we still could have damaging winds over 60 miles an hour. Western half of Houston, damaging wind issues done, but it's still going to be windy for a while. East sides of Houston to Galena Park to Jacinto City. I know I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. Don't really care right now. This storm still showing indications of producing winds of 100 to 110 miles an hour. Latest scan just came in. I'll switch over the terminal Doppler weather radar. We'll see if it looks any different. You can see we're seeing winds. Again, well over hurricane force here. It may not be as extreme as it was 10 minutes ago, but it is still extremely damaging. The CenterPoint Energy site stopped updating the power outage numbers. That's usually not a good omen because I guarantee they're still going up. So again, downtown Houston, winds are still strong, but they're calming down. Western half of Houston, western Harris County, it's pouring, it's storming, probably going to have heavy rain, but it's calming down. Eastern Harris County, out towards parts of Galveston County and portions of, well, here, I'll just tell you. Southeastern Harris County. Problem. Tornado warning for Brazoria and Galveston counties is canceled. We still have storms.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Chambers, Harris, and Liberty County in Texas. A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Calcasieu County in Louisiana. Hardin, Jasper, Newton, and Orange County in Texas.
Okay, so what we're going to do, let's just take a statewide view real quick. Western half of Houston, you're calming down. Eastern half of Houston, you're going to calm down the next 20 minutes, but it's still going. If you don't have power, the best advice I could tell you is don't expect to get it back anytime soon. Here's the radar over the last 2 hours. We got hailers in the Concho Valley and the eastern Permian Basin. We just had Odessa, Midland get hit with golf ball size hail, winds of 60 to 80 miles an hour. Line of storms evolving now from Midland all the way down to, well, here, Rankin, moving east. That line's moving east at about 30 miles an hour. It's going to move into San Angelo and Abilene over the next few hours. Big country, Concho Valley, strongest storms there, winds up to 80. Winds up to 80, maybe some quarter to golf ball size hail. The individual supercells that are southwest of San Angelo, one approaching Cristobal, one approaching Barnhart, could have golf ball to softball size hail. Those are moving southeast. We'll see. Those may impact Junction later in the western hill country. Those storms around West Texas, Lubbock, strong winds, 50 to 60 miles an hour at times. And we got some scattered storms up in the Panhandle. Activity western half of the state will move into the big country, the Concho Valley, this evening, make it into North Texas and the hill country midnight to 2 a.m., but weakening as they approach I-35. East Texas, southeast Texas, storms will be calming down by midnight. Rain will be calming down over the next few hours, but right now we've still got major problems with a destructive event moving through the city of Houston. We've had the possibility of spin-up tornadoes and pretty widespread hurricane force wind gusts of 80 to 130 miles an hour. There are now 633,000 customers without power in Center Point. It's a grid area, which means considering most customers have 2 to 4 people, millions of people around Houston are without power right now. And some folks are going to be without power for days. I could just tell you that now based on the damage pictures I've seen. We've got major damage to not only the localized power grid, but some of the high-tension power lines are without power as well. So again, we'll deal with that after this, but this is probably going to be one of the more widespread power outage events we've seen in Texas since the ice storm back in 2021. Now, obviously, this is not a statewide power outage, but in terms of the number of folks without power, this is going to be pretty bad for the Houston area.
Texas local storm report from 15 miles north-northwest of El Dorado in Schleicher County, Texas. Hail magnitude measured 1.00 inch. Reported by Storm Chaser.
So we've got big problems. We got, there's going to be tree damage galore, power lines down everywhere. Do not approach the down utility lines. I don't care if they're energized or not. If they come back on and you're near them, you're getting zapped. And we don't need folks getting killed from power lines. Okay, back to the radar. Strong winds moving over Deer Park, Channelview, Highlands, LaPorte. We could still have strong winds ongoing in Jacinto City to Galena Park, to Pasadena to South Houston, northeast sides of Houston. We still got strong winds at the Houston-Dunn Airport. They just reported a 72-mile-an-hour wind gust. So again, downtown Houston, we're starting to calm down. But it's pouring. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning from Intercontinental, Spring to Humble to Aldine, down to Houston, to Galena Park. A small tornado warning continues from Channelview and Deer Park to LaPorte, Morgan's Point to Baytown. And again, we're in real close proximity to this radar now, so let me switch back. And you can see it's pouring rain. Houston, it's still pouring rain. It's pouring rain up I-45 to Humble. It's pouring rain up to Liberty, Lumberton, Silsbee. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning out near Orange. Let's take a look at that. Pray for damaging straight line winds over 60 miles an hour approaching Buna down to Morrisville. Very heavy rain that will cause rapid onset of new flooding. And folks, I'm seeing video of folks standing outside in the middle of this, taking video while there are literally trees flying down the street and power lines exploding. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not very smart for doing that. I almost called you something far less kind, but I mean, folks, that is why at the end of the day, some of you just cannot be saved. You're not smart enough to go inside and take shelter versus standing outside with your little camera trying to get your 15 seconds of fame. I mean, one day maybe I'll show you video and pictures of what happens when someone does that and they get impaled by debris. Seen it. It's not pretty. So please, don't go outside and do that. There is a difference between taking video out in the middle of nowhere where, you know, the worst that could happen is you get hit by grass versus in the middle of a very highly populated area where you have pieces of buildings, trees, all that flying down the street at violent terminal velocities to where if it hits you, it is not going to stop. It is going to go through you. So that's why we tell folks to take shelter, not because of the stinking hurricane force winds, but the stuff the stinking hurricane force winds pick up and violently projectile. Have you seen pictures of where, you know, pieces of grass or hay are literally sticking out of power poles or, you know, curbs? That's because they get thrown at 100 to 200 miles an hour. We dealt with winds over 100 miles an hour. There's probably going to be pictures of pieces of tree limbs sticking out of the sides of buildings or roofs. And that's your Baldy-in-Chief grumpy lecture of the day. There you go. Back to the radar we go. Let's put a loop on it. Line of storms. Some of them are producing damaging winds.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Hardin County in Texas.
Might have a tornado near McNair and Cody, just east of the Interstate 10, Highway 330 split, just east of Lynchburg, by the way. Seeing indications of that. I'll show you in a minute. But again, here you go. From Kirbyville to Buna to Lumberton, all the way back through Liberty, Baytown, to Missouri City, to north of Bay City. Line of storms, damaging straight line winds of 50, 60 to 110 miles an hour. Can't rule out spin-up tornadoes. Heavy flooding rainfall. The good news is these storms are actually starting to move more quickly now from west to east, reducing the time they sit over one spot and cause flooding. But
Texas local storm report from 4 miles southwest of Christoville in Tom Green County, Texas. Hail magnitude measured 1.00 inch. Reported by NWS employee.
So again, good news is in terms of this, the storms are at least moving now. They're not sitting over one spot. We don't want your videos of you standing outside in the middle of a hurricane force wind event where stuff is flying around. Because that just shows you're being a fool. When we tell you to go inside and take shelter, it's not for you to go stand outside in the middle of a 100-mile-an-hour windstorm while stuff's flying around to get video. No. When it's safe to do so, go out after the fact. Get the pictures, get the video if you want. Don't stand outside on your porch or whatever, or in the street, filming as trees are coming down and flying around. Folks, that's how you get killed, by flying debris. And to be perfectly blunt, that's how some of you are, or some folks at least we've seen on here, demonstrate Darwinism. That's why we've accepted the fact no matter how much we try to get the word out, no matter how good we, the Weather Enterprise, become at disseminating weather warnings, some folks are just going to refuse to be saved, and that's it. You can't save everyone. We still are going to do our best, but some folks are just going to go outside and try to take video and try to get their 15 seconds of fame, and then they're going to get hit on the head with a tree or a brick.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Crockett, Irion, Schleicher, and Tom Green County in Texas.
That's why we want folks to safely seek shelter during the storm, and then after the storm, go out, see what happened. We know it's windy. We know there's damage being done. We don't need you standing outside in the middle of said event shooting video to tell us that. We are perfectly fine finding out about it after the fact when you go outside and take a picture of a down tree, down power lines. We don't need you outside in the middle of the thing taking video as it happens. That's what doorbell cameras are for. But again, we probably have, I'm going to refresh the Centerpoint Energy Tracker. Let's see what this is up to. Maybe it'll be surprising and have come down. It's just not loading now. That's never a good omen. Last check, there was over 630,000 customers with Centerpoint without power in the Houston area alone. And again, we got storms, we got problems. Houston, tornado warnings gone. There are no more tornado warnings. For now, I would not be shocked if we have another one at some point from just south of Mount Bellevue to Anaheim over to Monroe City and Beach City. Seeing a bit of a circulation with that. We still have damaging straight line winds. Now, not to the extent we saw going through Houston. It looks like Cloverleaf to Channelview to Lynchburg, we're probably back into the 60 to 70, maybe 80 mile an hour window, which is still quite damaging, but, we're not seeing the extreme 130 mile an hour winds. So again, Houston, it's calming down. That's the clear and concise message. It's still raining, it's still pouring, you're still getting hit with lightning, there's probably still gusty winds. There are now 781,000 customers with Centerpoint without power around Houston, which, when you consider most customers have 2 to 4 people, millions of people without power in the Houston metro right now. Some of you are probably going to be without power for at least 3 to 5 days. That is not an official projection from any official entity. That's just based off my experience and seeing the damage to the grid. We've got multiple major transmission lines that have been knocked over. It's also pouring rain. 2 to 2.5 inches of rain in parts of Houston in the last 25 minutes, so flooding. So again, worst of this is now from Mont Bellevue to Baytown to Lynchburg to LaPorte to Beach City, moving east towards Hankamer, Anaheim, Double Bayou, Houston, it's over. It is still raining. It is still windy. The hurricane wind event's over. There is still lightning, so please be mindful of that. And I want to emphasize, there are probably a lot of trees down on buildings around Houston. Many roads are probably blocked by downed trees or power lines. I would advise you not to travel around Houston right now. Most roads are probably inaccessible. Not because of flooding, though there probably is some street flooding, but because trees and power lines are down. This is like a hurricane hit Houston. Ike in 2008. This might be like Ike in 2008 for some folks around Houston where, we lost so much power and we have major wind damage. And yes, it did emulate tornado-like winds, except instead of, 100-yard wide, it was miles wide. So yes, it was like a Category 2 hurricane moving through Houston, is the best way I can compare this. But Houston, it's moving out. It's still raining. There's still lightning. Rain rates are decreasing. There may be some additional rain coming in over the next several hours. But again, all the way back from Giddings, northeast of LaGrange to Brenham, all the way through Houston, this thing has a line of wind damage. And there probably have been at least several spin-up tornado tracks in that, within the much larger area of wind damage. I don't like seeing video from an Astros. Oh, that's probably going to make me mad later. We're not dealing with it right now. But again, we're hearing reports of damage in Houston. We got high-tension power lines that are down. We're hearing reports that roofs are blown off buildings, that it's raining in buildings. Look, this is for all intent and purposes, is going to be at least a small-scale to regionalized disaster equivalent to that of a hurricane strike on the city of Houston, except it was caused by an intense supercell thunderstorm. And we're not going to know the extent of damage for a while, but it's not going to be pretty. And it's going to take a while to get through it. Okay? What we're going to do now, again, we have no tornado warnings, so let's go ahead. I'm going to look back out at the state. We have other storms going on I want to talk about here. And my apologies to the rest of you across the state where you may be dealing with some severe storms with hail and wind. We had to get through that incredibly dangerous situation. Over the last few hours, we've had storms moving across West Texas, now into the southern Panhandle, the Permian Basin, the Concho Valley. These thunderstorms moving from west to east at about 30 to 40 miles an hour, with winds of 50 to 60 at times to 75 miles an hour. Flooding, Odessa to Midland. We've had a lot of wind, a lot of hail in both Odessa and Midland. It was your annual get hit by wind-driven hail event. Concho Valley, we've got a few supercells. Those have produced up to softball-size hail. We noticed that little bow echo near Garden City now. That's going to be moving towards Sterling City down to San Angelo over the next 2 hours. So San Angelo, you're going to have problems with this line of storms probably by 8:30 to 9 coming in from the west, with wind damage, heavy rain, maybe some hail. We've got a dust storm warning around. I mean, you can see it actually. Look, thunderstorm winds actually kicked up a dust storm. You can see that moving through Fort Stockton, wall of dust moving towards Alpine and the Davis Mountains and Sanderson from wind-driven outflow. You can actually see it there. Let me see if I can't knock this loop down. I'm going to switch to a different source real quick. And yeah, you can see it. Clear as day. Wall of dust. That's actually really cool. Let me see if I can't switch products. Nah, you can't see it as easily there.
Been issued for Koch, Sterling, and Tom Green County in Texas.
Wall of dust moving across I-10. So we got low visibility with a dust storm on I-10 from Fort Stockton to Balmora. And again, this is just a 30-minute loop. Look how quickly that wall of dust is moving. Wow. Times like this, you also have to be in amazement at just some of the visuals we can get from today's technology. All right, I'll switch back to the typical view. Here you go. Again, you can see storm, wind-driven outflow, that wall of dust. That's incredible. Again, here's a statewide view. It's storming in West Texas, the Permian Basin, the Concho Valley. It is storming in Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle. We have rain in East Texas. That's not severe, but it's moderate to heavy rain. We've got storms that are quite rowdy in Southeast Texas into the Golden Triangle. Some of those storms could have damaging winds over 60 to 75 miles an hour, the potential for heavy rain, pocket change to large diameter size hail, quarter to golf ball at times maybe. We have no tornado warnings right now. We still have storms producing damaging winds, but less so than earlier.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Brazoria, Galveston, and Harris County in Texas.
Okay. So again, Houston, you're clear. It's raining, it's pouring, but Houston, you're clear from damaging wind and severe weather. Golden Triangle, you're not. Okay, here's what we're going to do real quick. We've got a few minutes. What I'm going to do is we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm not going anywhere. I'm literally just going to refill my caffeine cup and grab a Kit Kat bar. But we'll be back in 5 minutes, and we'll keep on going with this. Houston, you're clearing out. Storms from Cove to Old River Winfrey to Onahawk to Beach City to Baytown to McNair. Still damaging winds. Same thing goes from Friendswood to Leak City to Webster to Dickinson to Seabrook. So again, we'll be back. 4 minutes. Kit Kat bar, caffeine.
County in Louisiana, Jasper, and Newton County in Texas.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I apologize. It is 7:15, the 16th of May, 2024. We've had a major severe storm episode occur in the city of Houston. We've got probably over 1 million folks without power now. Widespread wind damage. We've got flooding. East Texas, the Piney Woods, the Golden Triangle. We've got severe storms now back in parts of the eastern Permian Basin into the Concho Valley. Concho Valley Permian Basin storms have a history of producing hail up to the size of softballs, winds over 75 miles per hour. We've got the storms at southeast Texas. We probably had winds of 80 to 120 miles an hour across parts of the city of Houston, all the way back northwest towards Brenham. We got a lot of wind damage, like a lot. It's like a hurricane in terms of wind damage. We've got at this point, I'm just looking at video. Yeah, we did have a tornado in Cypress. So yeah, we've had at least a few tornadoes around the Houston metro. In the midst of more widespread damaging winds. So, yeah, it's been a very destructive last couple of hours around parts of Houston, southeast Texas. Storms continue. Let's zoom in. Severe storms. Golden Triangle.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Chambers, Galveston, and Liberty County in Texas.
Now, we have calmed down significantly compared to 30 minutes ago across southeast Texas. What time is this from? 17? Okay, so we lost the Houston radar, I think. No, we didn't. I'm just messing it up. Okay.
A new flash flood warning has been issued for Allen and Beauregard County in Louisiana, Hardin, Jasper, and Newton County in Texas.
Okay, let's get this done. By the way, in terms of high tension, or excuse me, typically in terms of tornado damage, there's a set scale, damage indicators to knock down one of those really big transmission towers, metal transmission towers. It's at least 116 mile an hour winds or a strong tornado. So seeing pictures out of Cypress of that was indicative of, yeah, we had at least 110 to 120 mile an hour winds. And yeah, we've seen video of a tornado near Cypress. I'm not particularly thrilled at the fact I'm seeing so many videos of said thing from people standing outside when they should have been in shelter, but again,
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Calcasieu County in Louisiana, Newton County in Texas.
At some point, you just gotta smile and wave and be like, you want to stand outside and get impaled by debris from hurricane force winds or a tornado? It's your choice. We can tell you everything we can tell you, but it is your choice whether or not you want to take the action necessary to protect your life. And many people do. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on. We've got a line of severe storms moving across portions of, well, at this point now from near Liberty to Devers to Nome to Lumberton to Silsbee, back to Anahuac to Monroe City to Winnie to High Island to Gilchrist to the Bolivar Peninsula to the Houston Chippy Channel, Galveston Bay. Wind 60 to 70 to 75 miles an hour. The potential for maybe a spin-up tornado. The potential for maybe some small hail, heavy rainfall. Back into portions, back southwest, we've got storms from really southern portions of the Houston metro back to north of Bay City. Those storms, gusty winds, not to the severity of those further east, but could also have some small hail. Oh, sorry, I'm stretching. And some heavy rainfall. Back, we've got moderate to at times heavy rain, East Texas, the Arklatex. Back into central Texas, the Brazos Valley, some showers. Back into portions of the Permian Basin and the Concho Valley, we've got thunderstorms capable of producing, let's just say quarter to tennis ball size hail and damaging straight line winds of 65 to 75 miles an hour. That little line of storms from Big Spring down to west of Big Lake will probably make it to the big country in the Concho Valley over the next couple of hours. The potential for large to damaging hail, damaging straight line winds over 70 miles an hour. We know flash flood warnings continue, Odessa to Midland. We got rain, some thunderstorms, West Texas, up into the Panhandle. A little bit of a hail core trying to perk its happy self up now. That's going to be northeast of Vigo Park, south of Claude. We'll see. They might have to put a severe thunderstorm warning on that. For some quarter-size hail at some point. Otherwise, it's storming and pouring in Big Spring. It is not doing a thing in San Angelo right now, but that's going to change. CenterPoint Energy now reporting 812,000 customers without power around the city of Houston and the Houston metropolitan area, which means with people counted in and all that, we're probably looking at 1 to 2 million people.
A new tornado warning has been issued for Chambers and Liberty County in Texas.
All right, this is going to be a tornado warning for Anahuac. It's going to be for a circulation coming off the bay. So those of you in Anahuac, you need to be in a safe place. Storm circulation now coming inland from the bay. For portions of Chambers and Liberty County, this does not include the city of Winnie at this time. It does include Handcammer, Monroe City, and Anahuac. So those of you in Anahuac, east on 65 to Monroe City, west of Stowell, you need to be in a safe place. Those of you on I-10 between Handcammer, west of Winnie need to be in a safe place. Damaging straight line winds, maybe a spin-up tornado coming on inland with a circulation. All right, 723, we have a tornado warning for small portions of Chambers and Liberty counties and southeast Texas. Possible circulation moving onshore near Anahuac, out of the bay, moving towards Monroe City and Handcammer. This includes Highway 65 west of Stowell. This includes I-10 between Highway 61 on the west side, and for all intent and purposes, Winnie on the east side. And folks, I'll tell you, we're seeing a lot of pictures of these high-tension power lines down. That's not good around Houston. So again, tornado warning, Anahawk, Monroe City, Handcammer, west of Winnie, circulation moving onshore, damaging straight line winds with regardless 60 to 75 miles an hour. Houston, you're done. Rain will be moving out of Houston here in the next several minutes. Anahuac, fine. So Anahuac, Monroe City, Handcammer. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows, might have a tornado coming in from the bay.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Glasscock, Midland, Reagan, and Upton County in Texas.
I'm seeing videos from downtown Houston. The streets are covered in what looks like tree debris and insulation, which is honestly kind of how it looked after Ike. Though hopefully we don't have any broken windows out of high-rise buildings. We might, honestly. Wind generally goes up. Every 20 stories up you go, you can usually add a good 20 to 25 mile an hour wind, at least in hurricanes. So high-rise buildings, yeah. All right, so Anahuac, Monroe City, Handcammer, tornado warning for a possible circulation moving onshore from the bay until 7:45 p.m. We have a line of storms producing winds over 60 miles an hour. From Buna to Lumberton. Here, I'll just switch radars. City of Beaumont, Anahuac. Moving east at about 50 miles an hour. We got flood warnings, flash flood warnings from Bryan College Station through Huntsville to Livingston to Shepherd to Woodville to Kirbyville to Jasper to Buna to Lumberton. Even though the rain's starting to end, it'll take quite a while for the waters to recede, and then we're going to have to deal with whatever waters move down through the river systems and flood control systems. That'll be a multi-day thing again. Houston, you're done. Anahuac, possibility of a tornado moving onshore. Ish. But honestly, that pretty much is already gone. You've got strong straight line winds. It's starting to pour rain now up into Winnie, Fannett, Beaumont, Vidor, Orange. It's pouring in Lumberton to Deweyville. Yeah, I'm seeing videos of trees down on houses all over parts of Houston and Harris County. That's what I was afraid of. So again, we'll switch back to the statewide view. I'll turn off the satellite. I'll knock this loop down to the last hour just to show you what we've got going on. Storms, Concho Valley, Eastern Permian Basin. Those storms are moving east towards, well, the Concho Valley, the big country. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's broken windows out of the Center Point Total Energy towers in downtown Houston. So earlier when I said this was going to probably be like Ike, where we have windows blown out of high rises, we do. So yeah, probably not to the extreme widespread nature of Ike, but in parts of Houston, this is similar to the damage caused by Hurricane Ike in 2008. We got windows out of high rises. We've got some stuff blown out of high rises onto city streets. We've got power out for at least a third of you in Harris County. And we have major, major damage to the power infrastructure, including the high tension power lines, the metal structures. Some of y'all are going to be without power for probably days. That's not an official estimate. That's just going off the history of things and, well, knowing how some of this works. Anahuac, if there's a tornado, it's probably down by Double Bayou for now. You've got straight line winds. Monroe City, you might have a circulation just east of you. That'd be crossing over highway. Oh, whatever highway it is, to be honest. I'm just going to look. Highway 65 west of Stowell. The good news is we're going to be done with this in the Golden Triangle in southeast Texas soon. These storms are moving pretty quickly. So, as this occurs, the threat for the city of Houston is over. Beaumont, it's pouring rain. You've probably got strong winds. Orange, same thing. Port Arthur, you're going to be on it over the next 30 minutes. We've got a report of wind damage in Cove in Chambers County, southeast Texas. Part of the roof is off the Chambers County EMS building in Cove. Again, these storms in the Concho Valley, big country, could have large hail, damaging winds moving east at 30 to 40 miles an hour. The potential for those to make it into San Angelo, Abilene over the next few hours. They'll probably try to make a run at North Texas, Hill Country, Central Texas around midnight, but they should be weakening. We'll take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model in just a moment. Beaumont, you've got issues with heavy rain, strong winds, and hail. Maybe a bit of hail. Not a lot of hail, but maybe some dime-sized hail. Again, overall, most of these storms down here look less organized than they did earlier. Yeah, we have this tornado warning for a circulation that briefly spun up near Anahuac, but to be honest, meh. That'd be closer to Monroe City right now. We'll see if that is able to intensify again. If so, they may extend that warning to Winnie and Stowell. Otherwise, Orange, Bridge City, Port Arthur, Nederland, Taylor Landing, High Island, and Sabine Pass. You're going to be having issues with heavy rain, small hail, 50 to 70 mile an hour winds over the next hour. We've got a dust storm moving into Alpine. We got a dust storm on I-10 around Fort Stockton back to the I-10, I-20 split from thunderstorm outflow winds. And then again, we've got all those storms in the big country, well, the Concho Valley and the big country moving east towards San Angelo and Abilene. Sun desire for McDonald's French fries. Very weird desire. Interesting. And then, so Sterling City, 80 mile an hour winds coming in from the west. With that storm, you could also have quarter-size hail. We'll take a look at that. Okay, plan here. It is 7:33. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back here at 7:40, sooner if necessary. Stream's not going anywhere. You're just going to get to listen to some music.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Concho, Menard, Schleicher, and Tom Green County in Texas.
And I'm telling you, some of the damage in Houston, downtown Houston too, we're seeing damage from that's equivalent to that of Hurricane Ike. Windows and debris blown out of high-rise buildings, roofs off buildings. We got glass and debris all over downtown Houston streets, reminiscent of Hurricane Alicia in '83 and Ike in 2008. And again, that damage isn't just confined to downtown Houston. We got damage all around Harris County, all the way back northwest up to parts of Waller County, Washington County, Austin County, extending east through Hardin County now. Over 1 million customers are without power in southeast Texas right now. Which, for what it's worth, we're getting near to that 10% mark for the entire state. A lot of trees down, transmission lines are down. It's not going to be a situation that is resolved tonight, that's for sure. All right, so we'll be back here at 7:40 sooner if necessary. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Bully-in-Chief David Reimer. It is 7:40 on the 16th of May, 2024. We've had a very rambunctious afternoon and evening across, well, several regions of Texas. We've got storms in the Golden Triangle, southeast Texas. We've had a major event in Houston. Hurricane force winds, the equivalent of what might have been Alicia in 83 or Ike in 2008, moved through Houston. Parts of it, at least. It's not good. We got probably over 1 million folks without power. We got damage to buildings in downtown Houston. We got high-rise windows broken with debris laying on the streets. Trees on houses and buildings, roads blocked. Not a good situation. Those storms have moved east of Houston. Still some showers and maybe a few storms around Houston through the evening, but the severe weather threat is over. Tornado warnings are gone. We've got a severe storm from, I'm just going to say it, Bolivar Peninsula, Smith Point, Stowell, Winnie, Fannett, Beaumont, Vidor to Orange, moving east at about 50 miles an hour. Those storms are about to be out of our state, into the Gulf and Louisiana. For that, we are very thankful. That'll be done in 30 minutes. Storms in the Concho Valley will not be done in 30 minutes. They are booking it east towards San Angelo. The potential for damaging winds up to 80 miles an hour. Large hail, flooding rains. Rain shield continues across the Arklatex, East Texas, into the Brazos Valley. It'll continue for, several hours, but the severe weather threat's done. With that, rain in West Texas, a few storms as well into the southern panhandle. You need the rain, smile and wave. Only severe weather issue right now with those is south of I-20 in the Concho Valley moving towards San Angelo. And then we've got a supercell making its way towards Menard. That could have some large hail. So what we're going to plan on doing right now, since we're calming down, is we're going to just do updates from here on out. If we have any new tornado warnings, we'll be back. But before we do any of that, let's take a look at the forecast for tonight. And then we'll actually keep the stream going through 8 o'clock at least, and come back with another update at 8. But we're going to turn everything off. We got that set up. Now we're going to load the high-res rapid refresh model for 8 o'clock. Just see how it's doing. You see, it's being over rambunctious with some of this stuff in West Texas, but whatever. We'll deal with it. So I'm going to have this go from 9 o'clock through 7 a.m. We'll load the loop. I'm going to let the load loop real quick. And here we go. You can see it moves stuff out of East Texas, Southeast Texas by midnight. It generally has stuff in the Big Country Concho Valley, still weakening as it makes it to North Texas and Central Texas by, well, midnight, to 2 a.m. And then it develops new storms early tomorrow morning by sunrise in the Rio Grande Plains, South Central Texas, into South Texas. Some of those storms could be strong to severe with hail.
A new flash flood warning has been issued for Hardin, Jasper, Jefferson, Newton, and Orange County in Texas.
But all in all, we should be calming down over the next few hours. Southeast Texas, you're almost out of it. These storms in the Golden Triangle, Southeast Texas, the severe weather threat should be ending by 8:30 to 9. Concho Valley, you're going to be busy for a while yet with hail, wind. San Angelo, you're going to get rocked. We got flash flooding. That's going to continue through the evening across East Texas, the Eastern Brazos Valley, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, and parts of the Permian Basin, Concho Valley, too. Okay, so we'll be back at 8 o'clock with another update. If something happens before then, we'll be back before then. Otherwise, you could keep an eye on the sky with the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. We've got interactive weather radars.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Chambers, Galveston, and Liberty County in Texas.
Your local weather forecasts, daily Texas weather roundups, and more. And you can visit us on the web, texasstormchasers.com/radar. Okay, we'll be back at 8 o'clock with another update sooner if needed. No tornado warnings are in effect. No more crazy 100-mile-an-hour winds. Storms in the Concho Valley most definitely are producing hail. We still have heavy rain with some gusty winds in the Golden Triangle in far southeast Texas.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Koch, Runnels, Sterling, and Tom Green County in Texas. flash flood warning has been issued for Beauregard and Calcasieu County in Louisiana, Newton, and Orange County in Texas.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Coming up to 8 o'clock on this, the 16th of May, 2024. Been a very eventful day across parts of the state. We've had a major weather disaster occur in the city of Houston. Damage equivalent to that of Hurricane Ike in 2008. We've got numerous windows blown out of high-rise buildings around downtown Houston. We got debris all over the place. Million plus people without power. And the amount of tree damage is... yeah, it's not good. And again, that extends all the way back up towards Brenham, northwest of Houston. We still have heavy storms ongoing for at least another 20 minutes in the Golden Triangle, the upper Texas coast. That threat will end shortly. The flooding will continue into tonight, but the severe weather threat in southeast Texas is moments away from concluding for the day. Houston, no more severe storms. We note some scattered showers and storms continue back in East Texas, southeast Texas, but no more severe weather. Concho Valley, we've got a nasty line of storms moving east towards Robert Lee and San Angelo. There could be winds of 70 to 80 miles an hour with that. We could also have some large hail back down towards Big Lake. That activity, in conjunction with some of this back up in West Texas and the Panhandle, will make its way into the Big Country, the remainder of the Concho Valley, over the next few hours, making it toward North Texas, Central Texas, the Hill Country by midnight to 2 a.m., but weakening. Probably before it makes it to I-35, maybe just enough oomph to let them bring a little bit more rain to I-35 from North Texas down to Central Texas between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. Otherwise, it's up in the Panhandle a weekend. We'll have a few hours of mostly quiet weather and then strong storms possible after 4 a.m. Friday through the morning hours. The Rio Grande Plains, Laredo, Zapata, down into South Central Texas, Cotulla, over to Beeville, south into deep South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, and the lower Texas Gulf Coast, with some storms possibly producing hail, heavy rain, and strong winds early tomorrow morning. All right, that is going to be it for our severe weather coverage this evening. We will have a detailed forecast video coming out by 9 p.m. You'll be able to view that on our app, our website, and on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel. And if we need to, we'll be back with more severe weather updates, but we're definitely calming down for now. So thank you for tuning in this evening. I'm very sorry to those of you who have sustained damage from today's storms. Please be safe while handling the damage. Remember, do not approach down power lines, even if they have no power. Always assume they might just re-energize. It's better to assume that than, being near one when one comes back and electrocutes you. And we'll keep an eye on the weather as we go through the next several hours. But after tonight, at least tomorrow afternoon through Monday, should feature very low to no thunderstorm chances outside of maybe a couple in West Texas and the Permian Basin with hail. But eastern half of the state is going to get hot, dry, and, humid, but no precipitation. All right, we'll have the weather video up by 9 p.m. I'm going to get to recording that now. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, and God bless.